Feel it building. Feel it cracking under your skin. They talk about power like it's destiny, like strength is something you inherit. But I carve mine out of silence, out of bruises they don't see. Every hit rewired my veins. Every loss became my gain. You don't know what I contain. Pressure makes diamonds. Passion made me fire in my bones. Lightning set free. Push me harder. Watch what I become. You don't create monsters. You create some.
A knee strike parried by a punch, and a punch blocked with the forearm. Swift strikes were parried in rapid succession during the combat training. Taking the hits, a young man scratched his arm hurriedly. "That hurts!" Standing before him was Su Hong. "Hey, your Vajra fist has improved again. You haven't reached the subtlety realm yet, have you?" The young man in front of him, training shirtless, dropped into a fighting stance, revealing, "I reached subtlety 2 days ago." Subtlety was one of the world's martial arts realms. Any martial art mastery was divided into 5 levels: entry, proficiency, subtlety, great achievement, and perfection. Su Hong's sparring partner gave him a thumbs up, for no one could compare to his Vajra fist. Ending the break, Su Hong barked, "Let's keep training." However, the young man quickly fled from Su Hong, grabbing his backpack to leave the gym. "I'm going home to eat. Goodbye, you training maniac." Old Professor Lee was checking the gym, and the young man said his goodbyes. Professor Lee sought out Su Hong. "Have you applied for the martial division?" He wanted to know why the young man hadn't paid the 30,000 yuan fee yet, as there was only 1 month left until registration closed. Averting his gaze, Su Hong asked the professor if he could give him a few more days. Despite knowing the financial troubles of Su Hong's family, Professor Lee reminded him that rules were rules. Even after everyone had left, Su Hong remained on the court, practicing his strikes. He continued to punch the air, thinking about the 30,000 fee. When Su Hong was only 3 years old, his parents perished in a disaster caused by a ferocious beast. After that, he went to live with his uncle and aunt's family, and as soon as they discovered his talent for martial arts, he received their full support. After all, in this era filled with ferocious beasts, martial artists were the ones who earned the most money. Su Hong looked at his muscular body without a hint of fat. He had trained in martial arts so his family could live a good life, but now he was making things even more complicated for them. Just as he was about to enter the house, Su Hong heard a conversation coming from inside. "Rent day is coming up, right? How much do we have?" His aunt and uncle were talking, willing to delay the rent just to pay Su Hong's registration fee. "Su Hong's talent is so good. He will definitely become someone important. We can't hold this boy back." Su Hong's aunt wanted to stop taking her medicine just to help her nephew. The uncle, however, was already thinking about taking on extra work so she could rest and not worry about the money. Su Hong felt the pressure he was putting on his relatives. He wanted to give up, but slapped his own cheeks to wake himself up. He opened the door with a smile, greeting his uncle and aunt. The aunt, who was applying muscle patches to Su Hong's uncle, was surprised by the boy arriving so late. Su Hong grabbed one of the patches, wanting to put them on for her, but she insisted on doing it. "Go to your room and rest, or you won't have any energy tomorrow." Su Hong's uncle agreed. "Listen to her. Go rest." In the room lit by moonlight, Su Hong lay down, thinking of his uncle and aunt, who did more than enough for him. That was why he wanted to handle his own problems from that moment on. Su Hong only knew one place where martial arts practitioners could earn tens of thousands in just a few days. The next day, Su Hong went to a large building surrounded by a forest. Inside the building, a large arena could be found. This was the underground fight club. The host approached the stage, announcing a famous competitor. "Today, the one commanding the stage is none other than the one and only Mr. Minotaur. Win 4 in a row and take 60,000 in prizes. Lose and you get nothing." Behind the red bull mask was Su Hong. The people around had never seen that guy with the bull mask before. No one put any faith in the newcomer. The announcer nudged Su Hong. "Hey kid, hype up the crowd." Su Hong scratched his head, asking how he could do that. The woman sighed, needing to teach him. "Try to provoke them. Ugh, newcomers are such a pain." Su Hong understood what she meant and shouted for everyone in the arena to hear. "I am invincible against anyone below a martial arts master. Weaklings, come and get me." Mr. Minotaur's arrogance irritated everyone. Soon, curses and a chorus echoed through the arena. "Crush him! Crush him!" Su-hong was not surprised by the malicious intent in the room, but that was the only way to get quick money. He hoped his diamond fist would win him some victories. A man with a rat mask jumped into the arena. "Arrogant bastard, I'm going to play with you." Su-hong analyzed his opponent. Plenty of strength, but the low stance seems unstable. Does he give the impression of being easy prey? The man with the rat mask lunged at Su-hong, taking advantage of the fact that he seemed distracted. Against the opponent's fist, Su-hong opened his hand. He launched a high attack, hitting the opponent's chin with his palm, thrusting him upward and throwing him out of the arena with a single blow. Su-hong raised his arm in victory, provoking, "Bring on the next one!" An uproar took over the arena, everyone surprised by the masked bull. It didn't take long for a larger opponent to enter the ring. "You got lucky, but against me, luck won't exist." Su-hong taunted the competitor, beckoning with his hand. This opponent seemed skilled, which would be perfect for testing the power of the diamond fist. Su-hong's muscular opponent advanced with a clenched fist, throwing a cross punch. Su-hong countered punch for punch, matching the opponent's strength. The masked opponent was surprised, as his wind punch hadn't worked. Su-hong felt that the opponent's punch was weaker than his, and went for a counterattack, with an upward punch rising to strike the opponent. As he hit him on the upper body, Su-hong spotted an opening in the midsection. Su-hong's kick landed with precision, hitting the opponent in his center of gravity, causing him to double over. Su-hong threw the second opponent out of the arena, surprising everyone once again. The announcer happily announced Minotaur's second consecutive victory, who provoked again. Next, Su-hong was being watched from the highest areas of the arena. In a luxurious room, with security guards and women dressed as bunnies, a man observed him from behind a glass wall, delivering his assessment. Not even a quasi-martial artist, but above the average of common disciples. This young man is no joke. Although Su-hong didn't look like an elite, he seemed solid enough to participate in competitions. Immediately, a masked blonde youth announced upon hearing the leader, "Teacher, I will recruit him." The mysterious man, however, warned, "Remember, do not show that you have evolved into a martial artist." Su-hong looked at his fist while doctors carried away the third opponent he had defeated. He felt that the diamond fist at the subtlety level would have no trouble defeating common disciples. Su-hong was one victory away from obtaining the 60,000. At that moment, shouts of surprise arose. "It's the White Fox! Is he going to challenge too? But isn't he a quasi-disciple? This is cheating." Su-hong heard the comments. The battle would be hard, but he wouldn't let himself lose. The man in the white suit smiled at Su-hong, waving to him. "Do not fear. I know my limits." The announcer signaled to the stage, "Final round of the Gatekeeper Challenge, begin." Immediately, Su-hong and the White Fox moved. Even being in a lower realm, Su-hong gave his all in his strike. The fists of both met in the center of the arena, and immediately Su-hong realized through the exchange, he's not a quasi, he's a true martial artist. He's holding back his chi and blood on purpose. Su-hong's teeth ground together, irritated by the cheating. The fox-masked man inhaled softly, letting energy surge through his body. Immediately, he took control of the battle, being much faster than Su-hong. Faced with such overwhelming power, Su-hong understood what martial artists were. In the crowd, everyone was impressed by White Fox's triple punches. Su-hong was forced to retreat, while White Fox attacked and taunted. "Are you only going to defend? Show me what you've got." Su-hong put his arms in front of his body, protecting himself from the countless attacks while trying to find a chance to counterattack. The attacks, however, came like a meteor shower, and one of them broke through his defenses. Su-hong didn't even see when the fist hit his face. He flew back, falling to the ground. His consciousness was fading, even as he forced himself to stay awake. The White Fox stepped over Su-hong. "Brother, was this match worth money? Then it's 0 for you." He bowed slightly, informing him, "My teacher wants you to join us. Fight for us and we will pay the prize if you accept." Su-hong, however, would not accept money from dirty people. White Fox did not like hearing the refusal, pressing down even harder on Su-hong, who still did not abandon his morals. "You pull this nonsense and still call yourselves martial artists?" Su-hong's opponent's gaze turned dark upon hearing him. He raised his foot, barking, "Very well, I'll finish you. Being a martial artist will remain only in your dreams." Su-hong felt an intense pressure overflow from his body. He squeezed out all his strength and managed to jump back, dodging the kick. An energy like fire burned around Su-hong while he muttered, "I can't fail here. I can't fail. I can't fail." The White Fox was shocked to see someone who had received his thundering punches remain standing. Su-hong continued to mutter, thinking of his family. "I will become a martial artist. I cannot waste my aunt and uncle's sacrifice." He wanted to give his family a good life, but there was no way to abandon the martial artist's code for it. He deeply refused to follow a dark future. It was at that moment that, before Su-hong's blurred eyes, a holographic window with a question appeared. "For your family, For your faith, what price are you willing to pay? Suhong answered with conviction. Everything! While the fire-like energy enveloped his body, Suhong felt a sudden chill. His surroundings shifted, and a titanic being materialized before him. The golden-bodied entity had a translucent lower half, and its wings and arms lacked a definite physical form, dissolving like shifting ichor. The being's deep voice reached Suhong. I shall grant you this opportunity. A surge of light erupted from the entity, colliding with Suhong. A golden window appeared before the protagonist, displaying his information, his name, vitality, spiritual power, and his mortal physique. There was a mission for him to complete. Scanning the details, Suhong decided to click on the random mission. The information materialized. Path of the arena. The road to becoming powerful is fraught with thorns. Player, please hone your martial arts skills here and settle the score with the White Fox in the outer world. The objective was clear. Inherit the martial art, master the Vajra Fist, and bring both the floating light palm and the void step to the micro level. There was no reward listed, as this was merely a basic guide. As Suhong analyzed the mission, he didn't notice an identical copy of himself being created. By the time he sensed the danger, a punch was already closing in. With agile grace, Suhong ducked, dodging the attack. Seeing his clone use the Vajra Fist startled Suhong. It was at a level far above his own mastery. However, he was not intimidated. With such a perfect training model in front of me, how could I miss the chance to learn? As Suhong launched a punch, the clone caught his wrist and countered. Suhong felt as if the clone were demonstrating exactly how to execute the movement, until the clone's fist actually connected. Taking the hit, Suhong retreated. Checking his progress, he saw his understanding of the Vajra Fist had increased by $3%, reaching the $10% mark. Encouraged by the rapid improvement, Suhong braced himself once more. Suhong lunged forward, and the clone mirrored him. Exchanging blows for several minutes, Suhong watched his proficiencies soar. The void step, already at the proficient level, rose quickly. The same happened with the floating light palm and the Vajra Fist, the latter finally reaching the micro level. After an indefinite period of combat, Suhong evolved his floating light palm from proficient to micro, and finally defeated the clone by landing a decisive blow. Using his newly refined void step to close the distance, he unleashed a Vajra Fist, now at the mastered level. The attack hit the clone dead center, dissolving it into particles of light and concluding the training. Having honed his 3 skills, Suhong clenched his fist in gratitude. A notification appeared instantly. Congratulations, player. You have completed the Path of the Arena mission. Rewards have been delivered. Do you agree to return to reality? Suhong accepted and reappeared in the arena facing the White Fox. The White Fox surged toward him. Playing mysterious, are we? Take this. He executed his thundering punch once more. His attacks were swift, but to Suhong's eyes, they now seemed sluggish. Dodging every strike, Suhong closed his fist. Mr. Minotaur's punch caught the White Fox completely off guard. The force of the blow shattered the fox mask and drove forward with even greater ferocity. Behind the Minotaur mask, Suhong's expression remained dead serious. He hadn't even broken a sweat. The entire arena stood mouth agape at the result. With a single punch, Suhong had crushed his adversary, face-planting him into the stone floor. Suhong looked at the presenter, questioning. I won the 4th fight. When will you give me my prize money? Startled by the unexpected turn, she quickly recovered and announced, Congratulations to the Minotaur for defending the ring. He has won the grand prize of $60,000. In the VIP room, the arena leader watched the outcome in shock. A mastered Vajra Fist? How can a martial apprentice cultivate the Vajra Fist to mastery? Most true martial artists can't even achieve that. He immediately ordered his security. Follow him and investigate his identity. That night, Suhong walked calmly toward his home. However, as he passed through the alleys, he noticed shadows tailing him. With a quick maneuver, he gave 2 guards the slip. They searched the narrow passages, unable to fail their orders, while Suhong hung suspended between 2 buildings above them, listening to their conversation. An hour later, Suhong arrived home. His aunt and uncle were shocked by the stack of cash on the table. Little Hong, where did all this money come from? Suhong fabricated a story, claiming that because he was so talented, the dojo where he worked as a sparring partner had decided to sponsor him. His relatives asked suspiciously, but didn't you say the dojo master was extremely stingy? Suhong quickly took their hands, asking if they didn't trust him. They fell for his charm. That's right, our little Hong would never lie to us. After talking with them, Suhong went up to the roof. He had solved the exam registration fee and the rent. His aunt's medicine was no longer an issue. He thanked the system for turning a deadly situation into an advantage. Beyond his martial arts mastery, he noticed another change. In the statistics window, a number caught his eye. Martial value, When he wondered about its purpose, a notification popped up. Defeated a higher level opponent. Obtained 67 points of martial value. Martial value can increase vitality and martial skills. Please use with discretion. He realized that for every point spent, his vitality increased by $0.1. Suhong felt his body change immediately as energy overflowed within him. His vitality reached $90 points. He was nearing the level of a quasi-martial artist. He decided to dump all remaining points into vitality. He felt not only his physical strength improve significantly, but his wounds also healed almost completely. With his body burning with power, Suhong leaped from rooftop to rooftop, looking for a place to train. He figured the school training grounds would have a combat tester. He arrived quickly at the open-air arena of Star City No. 1 school. In the center sat a level 1 combat power tester. Suhong decided to use only $70% of his strength for the first punch. A sharp glint appeared in his eyes as his fist moved. He struck the red target of the tester with a thunderous boom. Suhong immediately realized he had messed up. The tester had shattered, and thick smoke billowed from its internals. Worried, he wondered if they would make him pay for it. At that moment, a shout echoed. "What's that noise? What's going on in the middle of the night?" Suhong yanked his arm out of the broken machine and fled. An old man in pajamas arrived at the arena and fell into despair. Who was the bastard that did this? The only ones capable of this are those brats Chen Shan and Li Tu. The old man screamed furiously. Just wait until school starts. I will definitely educate you properly. Inside the school gymnasium, dozens of students had gathered. Upon arriving, Suhong asked a friend, "Why does Chen Shan have a lump on his head?" His friend whispered back, revealing that Chen Shan had allegedly smashed the tester the previous night and refused to admit it, leading to a punishment from the principal. On stage, the principal called for silence and introduced the man beside him. "Today's guest is my comrade in arms, the Tier 3 martial artist, Chen Tian. He will be teaching the Thundering Punch. Everyone, study closely." For many, it was their first time seeing a Tier 3 martial artist. Lessons from someone of that caliber usually cost hundreds of thousands. Suhong remembered this was the same technique the White Fox had used against him, an explosive fist capable of dealing 3 impacts. To learn a rank C martial skill normally required registration fees in the hundreds of millions. Suhong was determined not to waste this chance. On stage, Chen Tian commanded attention. "Students, stop talking nonsense. I will demonstrate it 10 times from start to finish. How much you learn depends on you." He stepped firmly and launched a punch forward. The first move is fierce and domineering. At the basic level, a punch will emit a single thunderclap. He struck again, demonstrating the proficiency level, releasing 3 thunderclaps. Next, he showed the micro and mastered levels, releasing 5 and 7 sounds respectively. Finally, Chen Tian demonstrated his own level. Lightning coursed through his entire body, and the energy in his fist took the form of a drill, piercing the air. Concluding the demonstration, Chen Tian added, "When you reach the perfection level, you can cause 9 sounds, but don't aim too high. Reaching the basic level today is enough." As the second demonstration began, Chen Tian asked everyone to imitate him. Immediately, the students in the auditorium punched in sync. Hours later, most had given up, collapsing from exhaustion. Suhong's friend panted heavily. "How is this even learnable? Rank C martial arts are too difficult." He turned to ask Suhong if he'd managed it, only to find Suhong had vanished. Suddenly, Chen Shan shouted with joy, "Ha ha ha! I did it! I reached the basic level!" The principal pointed at Chen Shan, introducing him to Chen Tian. "This is our school's #1 genius, Chen Shan. Are you interested in guiding him?" Chen Tian, however, was unimpressed. "He's considered a genius? In other cities, that's just average." Leaving the auditorium, Chen Tian walked beside the principal. "Old Li, your students aren't great. You made me come here for nothing." The principal felt one student reaching basic level was success enough. "What did you expect? To find a high-tier genius?" Chen Tian sighed. "The martial Tao is cruel. Talent is everything." At that exact moment, several thunderclaps reached their ears. In a nearby arena, they saw a student enveloped in lightning. Chen Tian rushed to the fence. "That was the 7-sound thundering punch. Your school actually has someone at that level?" The principal was shocked. He had never heard of such a genius. They watched as the student moved again. Suhong, oblivious to the duo, demonstrated the thundering punch again, echoing 7 thunderclaps. Chen Tian was stunned. After only half a day of teaching, a student had reached mastery. Suhong executed the punch one last time, shocking the principal as 9 thunderclaps boomed through the air. Beside him, Chen Tian trembled nervously. Watching the youth, Chen Tian had a sudden epiphany. "I see it. I understand now." Lightning began to spark on Chen Tian's own fist. He launched a massive punch, the thunder echoing louder than before. The principal congratulated him on breaking his bottleneck and reaching the 8-sound level. Chen Tian gripped his fist, ecstatic. It was that youth's punch that inspired me. Otherwise, I might never have broken through. Chen Tian hopped the fence. No time to talk, let's see who that student is. They ran to the field, but Su Hong had already disappeared. Su Hong was on his way home, stretching his aching muscles. I didn't expect cultivating a rank C skill to be so exhausting, much more so than the Vajra Fist. Looking at his stats, Su Hong saw he had already reached the perfection realm for the Thundering Punch. Now he needed a way to gain martial value and enter the realm of true martial artists. He didn't want a life or death struggle, but a proper challenge. After a few minutes, he arrived at the Raging Thunder Dojo. Inside, people were practicing spear arts. A trainee asked why Su Hong was there, and he simply replied he wanted to practice. Suddenly, the sound of a body hitting the floor echoed. A young man had been kicked by an arrogant-looking man. You dare say my teacher teaches poorly? If your comprehension is garbage, admit it instead of making excuses. A nearby trainee whispered to Su Hong, you haven't been around lately, so you don't know. His teacher is a new instructor, very strict, looks down on commoners like us, and only teaches superficially. He pointed to the arrogant man, identifying him as Li Yan. Li Yan raised his fist to strike the fallen youth again. With your level, you dare challenge me? Suddenly his wrist was caught. Su Hong warned him. Let's stop here, friend. Feeling challenged, Li Yan provoked. Who are you? Let go. If you have the guts, face me in the arena. Su Hong didn't back down, but a man in a suit entered the room. What's all this noise? Class is starting. Li Yan retreated, glaring at Su Hong. You got lucky. Seeing how arrogant these people were, Su Hong decided to see if they were actually worth their salt. The instructor gathered the martial artists. Today is the last day. I will teach the Raging Sea Spear technique. Same rule as always. I'll demonstrate it once. The instructor swung the weapon upward, scoffing internally and doubting anyone would learn a thing. However, the demonstration did not escape Su Hong's eyes. Every movement was recorded in his mind. The instructor threw the spear down and left. How much you learn is up to you. The students grumbled once the teacher and Li Yan were gone. Teach us something? You fraud? Su Hong had grasped the core of the technique. The spear was like a sea dragon walking upon the water, with momentum like endless, massive waves. Su Hong swung a spear over his shoulder and executed a thrust. He moved through the dojo with perfection, sparking surprise in everyone. Suddenly, Li Yan burst through the doors, complaining about the noise. Who learned the technique? Did anyone actually manage it? Seeing Su Hong wielding the spear with such skill, Li Yan realized he had learned it and decided to test him further. He approached tauntingly. Hey kid, I'll give you some tips on spear technique. He pointed his spear at Su Hong in a challenge. Su Hong's friend tried to warn him. Su Hong, even if this guy is a jerk, his strength is high, don't be impulsive. Su Hong remained calm. He leveled his spear and said, please teach me. Li Yan roared, charging forward. Kid, you're arrogant. Witness the Raging Sea Spear at the micro level. Su Hong closed his eyes, sighing softly. In the next moment, the sea seemed to surge around him, bathing the blade as he executed the Raging Sea Spear at the proficiency level. Faced with such technique, Li Yan's expression instantly turned to one of regret. Executing the spear technique, Su Hong launched a thrust. The spear tips collided, sending sparks flying. Li Yan was the most surprised of all. The youth before him wasn't even a martial artist yet, and yet he had reached such a stage of proficiency so quickly. A glint appeared in Su Hong's eyes. A surge of even greater power coursed through his body, and with a sweep of his spear, he knocked away the one held by Li Yan. Su Hong received a system reward for defeating a martial artist above his level, 35 martial points. Just as he had suspected, he could earn martial points through combat. Li Yan fell to his knees, completely incredulous. No way. Mastering the Raging Sea Spear technique to the proficient level so quickly, then what was the point of all my years of hard work? Furious, Li Yan stood up, lunging towards Su Hong with a clenched fist. When the fist was just inches away, a powerful voice stopped him. That's enough! Li Yan looked to the side, noticing the arrival of his teacher. Unexpectedly, Li Yan's teacher slapped him. If you can't even handle defeat, what kind of martial artist are you? Li Yan couldn't believe he had been hit, but the instructor didn't care. This unknown youth had observed the demonstration only once, and had already reached the proficient stage of the technique. Even the geniuses of the imperial capital were not this impressive. Although Li Yan was talented, the instructor could see his arrogance. Being defeated by a true genius ought to teach him a lesson. Immediately, the instructor forced Li Yan to bow. Young man, please forgive my disciple's lack of discipline. Su Hong didn't care much for the instructor's words, as the man's attitude shifted so rapidly. He soon left the dojo. The day had been hectic, but he had gained much. He hadn't only learned the Thundering Punch and the Raging Sea Spear technique, but also earned martial points. Reflecting for a moment, he remembered that the school exams were only a few days away. Wealthy students had prepared numerous high-rank weapons. He also needed to prepare something for the exam. A spear seemed like a good choice, which made Su Hong consider buying one. However, with the money he had, he could barely afford his aunt's medicine. He couldn't even buy a spear, which cost nearly 70,000 yen. While wondering if there was another way to get money, he passed by a shop. A news report was playing on one of the televisions. The number of ferocious beasts in Star City has increased. The city lord is recruiting martial artists to hunt them. The rewards are generous. Upon discovering the monster hunt outside the city, Su-hong thought about joining in. At Su-hong's house, his aunt was once again applying patches to her husband. "Look at you. Didn't little Hong give us a good amount of money last time? Why are you working so hard?" Su-hong's uncle had a narrow mindset. He is still young. It's not right to put our problems on his shoulders. I need to save money for them while I am still able to work. Su-hong opened the door, announcing his arrival. He immediately went to his aunt, intending to take the muscle relaxants to put on his uncle's back, but she held on to them, sighing, "I already told you to rest when you get home." Insisting, he began applying the patches to his uncle's back while revealing, "Uncle, I can make money now. You shouldn't work extra part-time anymore. Just stay home and take care of Aunt." Su-hong's uncle partially agreed. "All right, but I'm not going to just sit around doing nothing." He smiled, giving a thumbs up. "Don't worry, I'll just earn a little for daily expenses. I won't push myself too hard." Su-hong's aunt also smiled gently at him. "Little Hong, your martial arts training will cost even more in the future. We want to save as much as we can." Su-hong knew how poor his aunt and uncle used to be. Unless he earned enough money to last a lifetime, they wouldn't feel secure enough to retire and care for their health. Precisely for that reason, Su-hong did not intend to let the monster hunt reward slip away. Going up to the roof of the building, Su-hong set about preparing. The hunt would be fierce and dangerous. To ensure his safety, he needed to increase his strength as much as possible. To bolster his protection, Su-hong invested his martial points into vitality. He reached the 95 vitality mark. This left him just one step away from becoming a martial artist. 2 days later, Su-hong found himself in a pool of sweat, lying on the wooden floor of the gym. It was already past 10 Maoan p.m. It had taken 2 days for him to finally raise all his martial arts to the perfection level. Now, he felt his preparations were complete, and he could move forward. On Saturday, Su-hong headed to the Star City martial artists' base. The place, far from where he lived, looked more like a great fortress. Walking through the area, seeing traditional buildings he had only seen on television, he observed them in person for the first time. Martial artists were normally rare to see, but there they were all around. Su-hong picked up a flyer, checking the rewards. 300 yuan for each blue star beast. Starting from Tier 1, they would pay 1,000 for the initial stage, 3,000 for the intermediate stage, and 5,000 for the advanced stage. Something quite primitive caught Su-hong's attention. As proof that they had defeated a ferocious beast, it was necessary to harvest its left ear. As he walked, Su-hong saw a man with a greatsword place a heavy bag on the exchange window. He imagined the bag was full of ears. At that moment, a noisy group passed through the gate. "Make way! Can't you see young Master Ye is here?" A masked brute was shouting, accompanying a blonde youth. Somehow, that person's aura and clothing reminded Su-hong of the white fox he had fought in the underground arena. He overheard some nearby comments. "What a loser. If his uncle wasn't the base director, I'd crush him instantly." Another person hearing the comment added, "I heard he took a beating a few days ago. Serves him right." Su-hong observed the person once more, who walked with a smile on his face. The protagonist didn't care much about him, but knowing that not only ferocious beasts but also humans were dangerous, he decided to take extra care. Su-hong approached the exit and was stopped by a guard. "You're young. First time? Going into the wilderness alone?" Su-hong confirmed and passed by the guard, who sighed internally. Another ignorant kid. Leaving the fortress, Su-hong found himself in a vast forest. Rolling up his sleeves, he said to himself resolutely, "I will return with a full bag." 2 hours later, Su-hong had already ventured deep into the forest, but he hadn't seen a single beast. Could they all have been eliminated by the others while I was on my way here? Confused, he decided to push further. Su-hong ran quickly toward the inner areas of the forest, but stopped suddenly. A large white wolf with red eyes appeared in his path. The wolf appeared to be in the initial stage of Tier 1. It was a lesser moon wolf, and that was the first time Su-hong had seen one in person. The moon wolf growled fiercely at Su-hong. It gave the prey no time to retreat. The moon wolf's razor-sharp claws sliced through the air, with Su-hong as their final target. Su-hong, however, managed to evade by ducking low. At the same time, lightning sparked in his hand. The thundering punch struck the wolf's belly, sending it reeling backward. The blow was more powerful than the wolf could withstand. With a low whimper, it was hurled against a tree. The wolf slumped to the ground, utterly defeated. Su-hong could finally feel what it was like to fight a monster. It was far more exhilarating than he had imagined. Having defeated an initial stage Tier 1 beast, he wondered what it would be like to face a middle stage one. As he questioned this, red eyes emerged from the forest's darkness, watching him. The middle stage beast he anticipated appeared. A raging black bear lunged from between the trees, charging at him. A massive sound of impact echoed. The bear groaned slightly before falling to the ground. Su-hong realized that with his current strength, as long as he didn't provoke a Tier 2 beast, he was in no danger. Upon harvesting the bear's ear, he was satisfied to have secured another 3,000 yuan for his account. At that moment, a reminder notification appeared before him. Accumulated martial points are sufficient to become a martial artist. Please undergo evolution soon. Just as he rejoiced at the notice, Su-hong felt an overwhelming aura not far away. He looked around, wondering which beast possessed such an aura. Without fear, he ventured deeper into the forest to investigate. Climbing onto a rock, Su-hong was shocked to get a clear view. Before him was a peak stage tier 1 ferocious beast, a giant black jade python. The python was already in combat, lashing its body and throwing the humans attacking it far away. Two of those hit by the python crashed against the rock where Su-hong stood. The protagonist felt the danger immediately. The python had located him and attempted an attack. He jumped back, but the serpent's tail followed. With great speed, the python struck Su-hong, sending him flying. He retreated quickly, coughing from the damage sustained. In the area where he landed, a spear warrior lay on the ground, defeated by the python. Su-hong borrowed the man's spear. He walked toward the python, intending to challenge it. The jade python wasted no time. It opened its mouth, bearing fangs and venomous saliva, and took the initiative to attack Su-hong. The strike landed right in front of him, but he managed to dodge by jumping backward. To defeat a peak stage tier 1 beast, a team of martial artists of the same level working together was usually required. However, Su-hong's martial arts had been cultivated to perfection. He was confident after easily defeating the raging bear. To demonstrate his confidence, Su-hong used a tree as a springboard, gaining momentum to leap toward the jade python. With the aid of the void step, his speed increased as he closed in on the giant serpent. Mid-leap, Su-hong hurled his spear at the python, executing the raging sea spear technique. The spear pierced the python, passing through it as if it were thin paper. The python roared fiercely as it felt the intense pain. Immediately, Su-hong jumped over it, running toward the spear that had hit the ground after impaling the beast. Su-hong grabbed the spear and prepared to attack again. As he activated the raging sea spear technique, an energy resembling seawater surged around him. Channeling the attack once more, Su-hong threw the spear with even greater velocity. It tore through the air, carrying the surrounding water vapor with it. The spear struck the python again, piercing it with ease. Su-hong sprinted across the battlefield, leaping for the spear while dodging the python's tail swipes. The attribute gap was large, and Su-hong figured he would need a powerful finishing move to defeat it. I first need to wear it down as much as possible. Then I'll find an opportunity to deliver the final blow. As he devised his plan, the serpent's tail lashed out at high speed. Su-hong moved hurriedly, but managed to perfectly execute a thundering punch. The blow landed squarely on the snake's tail as it came toward him. After the impact, Su-hong retreated. Every time he launched an attack, he needed to immediately create distance between himself and the python. Finding an opening, attacking again, and then retreating quickly was the strategy he adopted for this battle. Su-hong panted heavily. Fighting this way was exhausting, but at least it was safe. He could tell by the trembling of the serpent's body that it was also reaching its limit. A few more attack cycles would be enough to finally defeat it. Gripping the spear firmly, Su-hong awaited the giant python's next move. However, at that moment, he sensed danger coming from behind. He turned quickly, knowing someone was there. Even so, he realized too late. A muscular, masked man lunged at Su-hong, gathering immense energy in his fist. Su-hong raised his arm hastily, trying to block the attack. Hit full force, he rolled across the ground several times before managing to stand. Coughing continuously, he looked up and asked, "Who are you?" Before him stood a group led by a blonde youth. Grimly, the so-called young master Ye addressed Su-hong. "We meet again. How about you hand over that giant black jade python to me?" Su-hong, on his knees, struggled to stand. In front of him, young master Ye revealed how he had tracked him. "When I saw you dare to leave the city alone, I was certain you'd find your end here. I didn't expect you to be this strong. Not only are you alive, but you also found a critically injured giant black jade python." Su-hong couldn't believe they were claiming he had just stumbled upon the python in that state. All 5 men before him were martial artists, and they had the numbers. This was exactly why Su-hong didn't want to fight them head-on. Suddenly, the same muscular man who had struck him before lunged again. "Didn't you hear young Master Ye? He wants the giant python. Why haven't you given up yet?" Fury surged through Su-hong as he realized the scheme they were pulling. "You attacked me from the shadows. Do you really think I'd lose to people like you?" Su-hong's fist met the masked man's punch. The brute felt a terrifying power ripple back through his arm. Su-hong didn't stop there. With a heavy follow-up, he shattered the man's mask and sent him crashing to the ground. Young Master Ye smiled, offering a mock compliment. "Excellent Vajra fist. Certainly fitting for you, the Minotaur." That comment confirmed Su-hong's suspicion. The man before him was the White Fox. Young Master Ye's smile vanished instantly after the remark. "You are the first person to humiliate me in front of so many people." He immediately ordered his subordinates. "Finish him." The 3 remaining team members advanced. Su-hong grabbed the spear he'd scavenged and leaped out of the pit where he'd fought the python. The group pursued him into the dense forest, searching every corner. "The woods are thick. Watch out for an ambush." One of them, however, remained overconfident. "We have the numbers. Why are you afraid of one person?" At that exact moment, Su-hong materialized behind him. The man turned only to be met with a razor-sharp gaze. An explosive blow landed, dropping him instantly at young Master Ye's feet. The White Fox cursed internally, looking around frantically, trying to understand how Su-hong was so fast. The remaining three stood back to back. One whispered, terrified, "Young Master Ye, that's the Thundering Punch." He used a Thundering Punch with 9 echoes. Even rank 3 martial artists don't have the Thundering Punch trained to perfection. Young Master Ye's expression darkened. "Shut up!" Even he struggled to believe someone had refined both the Thundering Punch and the Vajra Fist to the perfect stage. Su-hong watched them from high up in a tree. He was frustrated. If he hadn't spent so much vitality fighting the python, he could have continued the fight head-on. Now forced to pick them off one by one, Su-hong hurled his spear at high speed. The spear missed everyone, landing beside the 3 enemies, but it served its purpose as a distraction. Su-hong surged toward one of them, his palm striking the man's face before he could even react. Young Master Ye and the last man standing looked back to see their comrade dazed. The subordinate cried out in fear, "Young Master, that kid is too strong. We need to get out of here." Young Master Ye refused. He wanted to destroy the one who had humiliated him. Yet he couldn't even track Su-hong, who moved through the trees like a ghost. Su-hong suddenly appeared between the young master and his final companion. Focusing on the latter, Su-hong's strike took out the last bodyguard. Young Master Ye ground his teeth. Damn it, it's only been a few days. How did he become this strong? As he spiraled, Su-hong passed behind him. He spun around, but Su-hong was gone. Then, Su-hong reappeared behind him again, this time holding the spear. Young Master Ye, expecting this, turned sharply with energy gathered in his palm, shaped like a blade. Void-cutting fingers. The energy blast whistled over Su-hong's shoulder, striking a tree and toppling it. Young Master Ye seemed to lose his mind, firing energy blasts in every direction. Su-hong analyzed the attacks, noting they were at least rank B. Young Master Ye kept a small amount of energy at his fingertips, screaming, "You brat, I've memorized your face! If you dare hurt me when I get back, I'll make sure to end your entire family." The threat hit Su-hong's rawest nerve, and fury took complete control. He stopped waiting and charged instantly. While young Master Ye was still hurling curses, a shadow loomed behind him. By the time he noticed, Su-hong's fist was already glowing with massive energy. Su-hong spoke a single line before the impact. "You would have been better off sticking to your arrogance." The protagonist's fist found its mark. The force of the blow snapped Ye's head back violently. A massive explosion of sand and dust filled the air as young Master Ye was launched back into the pit where the python waited. Su-hong followed, pursuing him down. The aura around Su-hong burned like a sinister fire. "You should never have threatened my family." Young Master Ye was covered in blood. He tried to stand, still baffled by how Su-hong could be this strong when he wasn't even a martial artist. In that moment of doubt, the giant python rose behind him. Young Master Ye turned at the sound of a hiss. The python's massive tail slammed down on him, bringing his end. Immediately after, the giant python bared its fangs at Su-hong. Having spent so much time fighting Ye and his lackeys, Su-hong realized the python had used the time to recover its stamina. It was now completely refreshed and ready for a second round. Sometime later, the 3 who had been knocked down by Su-hong woke up. Still dazed, they wondered about the whereabouts of young Master Ye. Did the young master finish off that brat? One of young Master Ye's companions looked to the side when he heard the sound of footsteps. Su-hong was running toward them, carrying the fury of each one. However, Su-hong did not attack them. Instead, he shouted a warning, "Run!" Behind Su-hong, the giant black jade python emerged fiercely, pursuing him. The giant python lunged, swallowing one of the 3 companions of the former young Master Ye. Thanks to that, Su-hong obtained 30 martial value points for having indirectly caused their elimination. Su-hong's second enemy was thrown against a tree. He also met his end, and 30 more points were received by Su-hong. Despite not expecting to gain such points, Su-hong couldn't linger on it. The python had already resumed its chase. After going through several battles, the martial points he possessed were enough to become a martial artist. Su-hong used the trees as springboards, trying to shake off the giant python, which continued on his trail. He would need to find a safe place to manage his evolution. After continuing to flee for so long, Su-hong managed to spot a cave. He ran straight for it, followed by the python, which nearly knocked down the cave entrance trying to force its way in. Su-hong hid inside, and in its attempt to follow him, the python managed to thrust its fangs inside. However, the python's head got stuck, advancing no more than a meter. Su-hong sat down calmly to look at his information. He had 96 vitality points, 23 spirit points, and a 3% bonus to his mortal body. Finally, after his various skills reached the perfect rank, he possessed 504 martial points. Su-hong pressed the button to increase vitality, which shot up at high speed. He felt as if the blood in his body were flowing like magma, burning his insides. Soon, Su Hong's vitality reached 100 points. Su Hong managed to advance to the realm of martial artists. The aura around him became oppressive, swirling around him like the fire of a torch. Su Hong's fist ignited with power. He faced the python. Now it's my turn. The python felt the pressure exerted by Su Hong's power and tried to retreat, pulling its head out of the cave. Su Hong lunged forward, not allowing it to escape. With its head stuck in the cave, the giant python could not dodge the attack. Su Hong's punch hit it dead center. The power possessed by the protagonist threw the python out of the cave, shattering the mountain. While the python was still trying to recover, Su Hong pursued it. On his fist, the energy of the Vajra punch skill glowed. The python would not allow him to hit it easily. It tried to swing its tail to strike him. The snake's tail blocked Su Hong's advance, forcing him to use his attack against it. The counterattack caused heavy internal damage to Su Hong, who ground his teeth, clicking his tongue in irritation. He transferred his anger to the grip of the spear. Against the giant python's tail, he pierced through it like a raging sea. As soon as he pinned the giant python's tail to the ground, Su Hong made the energy of his attack form the thundering punch. Su Hong's fist fell like a cataclysmic lightning bolt upon the python's head. The sounds of thunder echoed throughout the forest. The weight of Su Hong's fist forced the serpent against the ground, sinking it into the earth. When a large curtain of dust dissipated, Su Hong appeared on top of the serpent's head. Even though the giant python was already severely injured, I managed to face its attacks head-on. Sitting on the serpent's head, he remembered he needed to take the monster's left ear as proof, but such monsters didn't have ears. Having decided what to do, Su Hong prepared to leave. On the way, Su Hong found young Master Ye's body, completely twisted. He searched the enemy's belongings looking for something useful. Su Hong found a small notebook, the skill book, Void Breaking Fingers. That night, the python remained before the cave, which seemed lit from within, with rocks blocking the entrance. Su Hong was sitting inside the cave. He memorized the entire introductory method of the Void Breaking Fingers cultivation technique. Now, he would only need to use it in the system to master it quickly. Su Hong appeared in the secret realm, and before him his clone began to form. Immediately upon appearing, the clone attacked Su Hong, launching an energy strike over his shoulder. Su Hong didn't stand still, returning the Void Breaking Fingers attacks, piercing through space toward the clone. The learning percentage of the technique rose rapidly. Su Hong, however, could not defend against all the attacks. One of the energy strikes hit him in the forehead. Being eliminated in the training realm, Su Hong returned to reality. He coughed several times and understood that a rank B martial skill was not that easy. Even at the basic realm, he already felt great pressure. However, having learned the technique, now he would only need to find a monster to test it. 3 days later, a large bear emerged in the jungle. It attacked Su Hong, who put the newly obtained technique into practice. Beams of energy shot from Su Hong's fingers, breaking the void and piercing the bear. After 3 days, Su Hong reached the perfection realm in the new technique. Its power showed why it was classified as rank B among martial skills. After so many days away, the day arrived for Su Hong to return to the base. A long line was forming for the delivery of monster ears. When someone received 230,000 in prize money, everyone was shocked. "Your Thunder Squad is truly powerful. You defeated so many." Suddenly, an even greater commotion occurred. Su Hong had placed a large bag before the woman in charge of accounting. Even she was shocked. 72 Tier 1 ferocious beasts, initial stage, 83 in the middle stage, 17 in the high stage. This totals 406,000 Blue Star coins. Even Su Hong was surprised at having eliminated so many beasts. The amount might look a bit suspicious, so he made a mental note not to go so far next time. Suddenly, a large explosion happened inside the base, drawing the attention of everyone scattered throughout it. Seeing a large curtain of smoke, many were worried the base had been invaded by beasts, even with the presence of so many high-rank martial artists. A man named Ye Qi, uncle of Ye Feng, the young master Ye, followed by numerous security guards, ground his teeth. "Lock down the base for me. Don't let even a fly escape." That was the order given by the one in charge of the base. A man approached Ye Qi, concerned, trying to understand what had happened. Ye Qi barked furiously. "My nephew Ye Feng and 4 of his martial artists, all of them were attacked." All the martial artists began to look at one another. Surprise was evident in everyone's eyes. Ye Feng, being part of a group of 5, having been eliminated, was extremely shocking. However, many celebrated in silence. Practically everyone had already been robbed by Ye Feng. If it weren't for his identity, many would have done the dirty work themselves long ago. Ye Qi walked through the base while his guards kept everyone away. A rank B martial skill on Ye Feng's body has disappeared. All martial artists must undergo a body search before leaving the base. Su Hong was calm because, due to the appearance of Ye Feng's and his companions' bodies, it was obvious the python had eliminated them. There was nothing to link them to him. Suddenly, the exchange manager addressed Ye Qi. After whispering a few things, Ye Qi looked at Su Hong. The protagonist immediately felt he would be targeted. Ye Qi and several guards walked towards Su Hong. Everyone moved away immediately, clearing a path for the base leader. Ye Qi looked at Su Hong with contempt and an overwhelming aura. "Little brother, I heard you defeated numerous ferocious beasts totaling 400,000 all by yourself. Your skills are incredible." And there was Yi here, glaring at Su Rong, exuding a frightening aura. The woman who reported Su Rong accused him. "He seems to be at most an early stage of rank 1. How could he kill so many beasts? He must have looted the items of the young master. Search him now." 2 of the guards approached Su Rong, and in their hands, fire magic was taking shape to intimidate him. "Don't resist, kid, or things are going to get ugly." As soon as the guard finished speaking, Su Rong's spear was pointed at his face. The guard was startled, stammering as he took a step back. "What are you doing?" He hadn't even managed to see the moment the young man had drawn the spear. Su Rong warned the 2. "I am a student of Star City Secondary School Number 1. Do you really want to search me?" And here he knew that the principal of the Number 1 school was notoriously protective of his students. He was not someone you would want to mess with, but the boy in front of them was highly suspicious. If he really had defeated all those beasts, he was a genius. If E here was wrong, and they ended up offending him, the effort wouldn't be worth it. E here walked towards the guards, interrupting them and staring at Su Rong, creating tension between them. "My nephew was attacked, and our family's secret technique was leaked. I must find the culprit. I hope you will cooperate." Su Hong was not intimidated by the man's gaze, keeping him in check. "I just hope you are not accusing the wrong person." Ahir intended to insist on the matter, and he made an offer. "I will give you 10,000 as compensation for this search. How about that?" Su Hong raised the stakes. 30,000, and Feng had been taken out by the giant python, so if they couldn't find the technique with him, they couldn't accuse him. Ahir sealed the agreement and asked the guards to search Su Rong. As the scoring inspector rummaged through his bag, the protagonist spread his arms, insisting, "Search carefully. I don't want any false accusations directed at me." In the end, the guards finished their search and found nothing. Here he sighed and ordered them to pay the 30,000 they promised, allowing the young man to leave. Su Hong felt relieved to have escaped everything while he was in the cave. Otherwise, he would have been in serious trouble. As Su Hong was leaving, he commanded the guards to continue searching. "Do not let anyone leave until everyone is no longer a suspect." Su Hong got rid of the problem, and now he just wanted to go home, take a shower, change clothes, and then head straight to the Martial Artists Association to sign up for the evaluation. "I need to obtain a guidance technique as soon as possible." Su Hong went to the underground hotel of the martial artists' base. The room was extremely spacious. He sat cross-legged on the bed and checked that he had obtained a substantial sum of 534 points. "I had been so focused on training the void-breaking finger and hunting beasts in recent days that I hadn't had a chance to spend them." The initial rank 1 martial artist required 100 vitality points, while the middle stage required 200 vitality points. Su Hong wondered if he should allocate all his martial points to vitality. He could gain an additional 53 points, leaving just over 40 to reach the middle stage. However, Su Rong had not yet evolved his spirit points or physical stat, not knowing exactly what effects they would provide. Since he had many points, he decided to invest in both stats, evolving his spirit points 10th by 10th. Su Rong did not feel any significant difference. He then evolved 10ths of the mortal body physique ability and immediately felt stronger. Su Hong reviewed his information. He now had the same 123 vitality points, 26 spirit points, and 36% of body physique. Su Hong stopped developing his mortal body statistics and invested 200 points in vitality. The remaining points were applied to spirit. A red aura burst from Su Hong's body, causing him to grow and his muscles to expand. It felt like an inexhaustible source of energy was gushing within me. Little by little, Su Hong's body returned to normal. He felt relieved to be back to normal. He didn't know how he could explain to the people he knew if he remained in his enlarged form. An hour later, Su Hong returned to the Star City Martial Artists Association. At the information desk, Su Hong introduced himself. "I'm here for the martial artist assessment." The woman who received him informed that a staff member would soon meet him. The woman accompanying Su Hong noticed how new he was. It was his first time taking an assessment to be considered a level 1 martial artist. His vitality needed to be at least 100 and his combat power over 1,000. "Good luck." As Su Hong walked, a duo looked at him from behind, commenting to each other, "That kid came alone. He doesn't even have a master. He must be just testing the waters given his age." Soon, Su-hong's eyes widened as he entered a large hall where numerous people were either taking assessments or chatting, waiting to be called. The door of a machine opened after an assessment. In front of it stood the assistant who announced the result. Liming, vitality 105 points. Passed. The next will be the combat power test. The young man named Liming approached a punching machine. After preparing himself, he struck the machine with his punch. The machine shook, and the score obtained was revealed. 1,763 points. Many people who watched Liming were impressed. He is almost at the level of a rank 1 martial artist in the mid-stage. One of the people recognized the young man, Young Ming. From the Thunderous Rage Dojo, isn't there a disciple named Liming? So he is a disciple of Young Ming. No wonder he is a genius. He was also using the Thunder Fist. Su-hong was confused because he thought Dian Ming's disciple was Lian. He wondered how many disciples the man had. Liming passed by Su-hong, warning that he was next. When Su-hong entered the evaluation room, Liming smirked mockingly. I'm taking this evaluation at this age because I'm a genius. You're here at the same age, but do you really think you can compare to me? In the next moment, while Liming still had his back turned, he heard everyone gasping. What is this? The vitality test broke. How can this vitality be so high? Liming turned around and was almost floored to discover that the vitality of the person named Su-hong was 120 points. This is impossible. Liming quickly tried to calm himself. High vitality meant nothing. He repeated to himself several times. Combat power is everything. Combat power is everything. The examiner directed Su-hong to the combat test, placing him in front of the punching machine. Su-hong, having advanced to martial artist and improved his physique, knew that his strength had massively increased. He believed that 40% strength was enough to pass the test, but was afraid of going too easy and failing. Just to be sure he would pass, he decided to use 50% of his strength. The force was directed into Su-hong's fist, which struck the punching machine's target. The machine detached from the ground and was launched against the wall, exploding with the great impact. Everyone was shocked to see the testing machine fly, and even more impressed to realize that the young man hadn't used any martial arts. Even with the machine destroyed, the scoreboard revealed the points marked by Su-hong. Exactly 3,004 points. One of the people around almost went crazy upon seeing the score. The average combat power for a rank 1 martial artist at the high stage is only 3,000 points. That number is unimaginable. On the upper floor of the testing room, a young man in a suit pointed at Su-hong, showing his master, the professor. It's that kid again. He is absolutely a monster. The young man's teacher observed Su-hong, understanding what his disciple meant. At the same time, in an office, a young blonde woman was looking at the news on her phone and complaining, "Damn it! The Yang City branch next door produced another genius. They show off every day. What the hell are they bragging about? If the Star City doesn't produce some geniuses soon, I'm going to lose my job." Her name was Wulin Xian, and she held the position of president of the Star City Martial Arts Association. Suddenly, a staff member burst through the door shouting, startling, "Wilkinson, President! President! A monster appeared at the Martial Arts Assessment Center, a level 1 in the initial stage. He threw the tester using only brute physical strength. His combat power reached 3,000 points." The shocking news made Wulin Xian stand up immediately. After the test, Su-hong headed to the central hall of the Martial Arts Association. A member of the association team approached to guide him. "Brother Su-rong, I'll take you to the second floor to register your identity as a martial artist first. Then, we will go to fetch your allowance." However, at the top of the stairs, a woman in high heels appeared, interrupting the subordinate. "You can stay here. I will take care of this kid personally." Looking up and seeing the blonde woman with the suit draped over her shoulders, the man stuttered, surprised. "President." The woman unknown to Su-hong stared at him, introducing herself. "I am the president. From the Martial Arts Association of Star City, the Lynxian was following me." Su-hong simply nodded internally. He was surprised to meet the president of the local association. Rumors said she was a rank 5 martial artist, but she didn't match the image he had imagined. Du-hong was taken to the president's office, where she casually sat on one of the sofas. "You are a student of Star City School number 1, right?" Lixinyo-chan, that old man, was trying to tell me a sad story earlier. He said the school had only produced 2 common level 1 martial artists this year. I can't believe he was hiding such a great genius. Confused, Su-hong asked why she had taken him to her office and revealed that he just wanted to register as a martial artist, receive his allowance, and learn a guidance technique. The Lynxian waved her hand, signaling him to relax. Calm down. I've already sent my subordinates to take care of your identification and payment. She stood up and walked in front of Su-hong, declaring, As for the guidance technique, I will teach you personally. Making the offer, Lynxian probed how much Su-hong already understood about guidance techniques. While she pondered, Su-hong mentioned some points he had learned. The textbooks say that the spiritual energy of heaven and earth is divided by attributes. Guidance techniques are methods to absorb this spiritual energy to strengthen oneself. Absorbing spiritual energy from different attributes requires the corresponding guidance technique. The Lynxian did not disagree with what he had read, but warned that guidance techniques were not merely cultivation methods and gave an example, showing her fire energy. The guidance technique of the celestial flame that I practice primarily absorbs the spiritual energy of the fire attribute. While it strengthens my body, it also enhances my attacks. With the lethality of the fire attribute, if you can project the attribute's attack outward, it can even increase your attack range. It ignited in Wu Lingxian's hand and traveled in the direction she launched it, like an open umbrella. Having shown its power, it also served as a warning to a level 1 martial artist. Forget about wrapping your fist with the element. Just being able to carry a bit of the attribute is already quite good. Su-hong looked on in surprise at the president's demonstration. Guidance techniques can also be used for attacking. Until then, he thought they were merely methods for absorbing spiritual energy for cultivation. The books he read never taught him this. Lynxian explained that spiritual energy was divided into 7 attributes: metal, wood, water, fire, earth, thunder, and wind. While each attribute had its pros and cons, strictly speaking about attack power, thunder came in first, metal second, and fire third. However, she asserted that the most suitable guidance technique depended on compatibility. Su-hong understood what she meant. It wasn't possible to choose the technique, as it was the technique that chose him. The association leader picked up a crystal ball that was on the table and revealed its function as a compatibility test. The larger the area glowing, the higher the compatibility. Typically, martial artists have only 20 to 30% compatibility. I have about 80%, which is considered very high. In the crystal ball that Wu Lingxian held, flames emerged internally. She extended her hand, passing the ball to Su-hong, hoping that a genius like him would possess at least 90%. For Su-hong, the president had become a rank 5 martial artist at a very young age. She was an absolute genius, and yet she only had 80%. He thought it was quite exaggerated to imagine he could have 90%. As soon as Su-hong transmitted his energy into the crystal ball, she shone brightly like a sun, blinding the room. Lin Qian screamed, completely shocked. The compatibility with fire is complete. It's 100%. She ran over to Su-hong, asking if he knew what that meant. It means that you can absorb 100% of the spiritual energy of the fire attribute without any loss. Lin Qian explained that, since she had 80% compatibility, 1/5 of the fire energy she absorbed was wasted, and yet, she had still reached rank 5. Approaching Su-hong, excited, she had high expectations. Your future achievements will surpass mine. I never imagined that a small place like Star City could produce a monster on par with those from Magic City or the regions of the Imperial Capital. Although the fire attribute wasn't bad, Su-hong preferred the thunder attribute. He sighed internally, wishing he also had compatibility with that attribute. As soon as he formulated that wish, lightning surged within the crystal ball. The brightness was as intense as that of the fire attribute. Su-hong and Lin Qian fell silent for a moment until he looked at her. President, my compatibility with the thunder attribute seems to be 100% too. Lin Qian rolled her eyes, unable to believe what kind of monster could have a dual compatibility of 100% with both fire and thunder attributes. While still immersed in turbulent thoughts, Su-hong showed her reflection in the crystal ball, and it had turned greenish. President, the wind attribute also has 100%. A few minutes later, Lin Qian lay on the sofa, trying to understand what was happening. This can't be right. How is this possible? Are all attributes at 100%? I must be dreaming. Lin Qian used to consider herself a high-level genius. At 30 years old, he had reached the 5th rank of martial artist. However, when faced with someone who challenged common sense, he realized he was just an ordinary person. He understood that to confront an existence that transcended logic, another existence that also surpassed the boundaries of reality would be necessary. She faced Su-hong, thinking he was one of those existences that ordinary people could not comprehend. Su-hong contemplated aloud. All 7 attributes are 100%. If I practice only thunder and give up the other 6, it seems like a great waste. What a dilemma. He then made a bold request. How about you give me a copy of all the guidance techniques for the 7 attributes? Although it seemed like a good idea, the Lynxian warned, human energy is limited. Even if your talent is high, it's better to cultivate only 1 or 2 attributes. In the past, people have tried to cultivate 7 guidance techniques simultaneously, and, after decades of cultivation, they were still only first-level martial artists. Suhong stood up and approached her. I can't decide right now, so I wanted to try cultivating all of them and then decide which one to focus on. Since the young man had a plan, bullying Chiana eventually agreed, but asked him not to act recklessly so that his talent wouldn't go to waste. The president then remembered something and asked, Suhong, I remember that your school's monthly exam is coming up soon, right? Not understanding the reason for the question, he waited. The Lynxian crossed her legs and revealed, straightforwardly, recently, the friction on the battlefield of all heavens has been intensifying. A great war between the numerous races and the human race may erupt at any moment. Because of this, nations are investing massive resources to form genius training camps. I want to recommend one for you. She stated that as long as he obtained first place in the school's monthly exam, she would ensure the recommendation. Surprised, Suhong thought about the camp of training of geniuses during the War of 1,000 Races. About a year ago, he had lost his entire family, with the exception of his uncle and aunt. This motivated him to become stronger and accept the offer. Okay, I will definitely work hard. Internally, he vowed, Uncle, Aunt, I will not allow such a tragedy to happen again. I must become strong. I must protect everything around me. When he arrived home, it was already evening. He reunited with his uncle and aunt and showed them his identification card. I have officially become a martial artist. Suhong's uncle and aunt cried with emotion at his growth. After delivering the news, Suhong revealed, rank martial artists do not receive a monthly payment of 10,000. Uncle, you won't have to work so desperately anymore. Surong's uncle shone with emotion. All right, our little Rong is the pillar of the family now. I will listen to whatever he says. Surong sighed with relief and vowed that from that point on, he would support the family even more. Later that night, he began training on the rooftop. The fire gathered within his body like beams of energy. The protagonist's eyes shone with an intense orange, gathering the power of the element. The fire emerged from Surong's clenched fist as he executed a straight punch, exploding the air. The fire soon disappeared, leaving behind only a layer of warm steam. Suhong looked at the hand that had lost the flames and felt confused. Is this considered the basic mastery of the guidance technique? Why does it have no power at all? The guidance technique appeared in a session of the information panel, showing that he had learned it. Upon seeing that the technique was at level 1, he wondered if it was possible to level it up. President Wu had not mentioned such a possibility. If guidance techniques indeed had levels, she would have said so. It was then that Suhong realized, could it be that guidance techniques can only be evolved by me? Suhong tried to search for information on how to evolve the technique. I need to use martial points for that. Also, a warning of insufficient points appeared as a demotivating alert. Forget it. Let's cultivate the rest of the techniques first. I'll figure out how to gain martial points. After that, Suhong sat on the ground with various open books around him. Several hours later, multiple cores of spiritual energy had appeared within his body, each corresponding to a guiding technique for a different element. Suhong understood why President Wu had said that a genius cultivating the 7 techniques would still be rank 1 martial artists even after decades. Although all 7 types of energy existed in his body, only one attribute could be used at a time. Suhong tested the fire attribute and tried to use a second attribute. The fire in his hand collided with the second attribute, and both exploded violently, dissipating afterward. Since thunder and fire had similar natures, Suhong wondered if they could be fused. He cautiously tried to use both attributes, but once again fire and thunder exploded. Suhong did not give up. He tried again, and after a third attempt, continued throughout the night. The night passed quickly, and as the sun began to rise on the horizon, Suhong, completely drenched in sweat, was still trying to fuse the 2 elements just one more time. He stood up, using both elements while shouting, "Let's fuse for me!" Finally, fire and thunder came into harmony. In Suhong's hand, a flame emerged where sparks of lightning oscillated constantly. Satisfied that he had finally succeeded, he concealed his fused attribute and decided to go out to test it. Suhong went to the martial arts square in the City of Stars. There were various training equipment there. He specifically chose a rank 3 combat power tester, as he feared that the machine might break. Last time, he used 50% power and scored 3,000 points. This time, he decided to reduce it to 30%. Suhong delivered a punch surrounded by lightning, and the strike exploded against the target. Quickly, the numbers appeared on the screen above the equipment, revealing a total of over 2,300 points. If it were the Suhong from before, 30% power would correspond to 1,800 points, but he gained an additional 500 points with the same percentage. Having seen the power of the lightning, he wondered what would happen if he used the power fused between thunder and fire. Flames and thunder erupted from his fist, exploding against the tester. Suhong was surprised to see that the score surpassed 3,000 points, relying purely on his physical body and fusing thunder and fire with only 30% power. Su-hong saw his strength exceed that of a high stage rank 1 martial artist, and his vitality points were only 123, something terrible to imagine. He had achieved such a result by fusing only 2 attributes. He wondered what would happen if he managed to fuse all 7. Su-hong decided to head home and try to fuse a 3rd attribute into his technique. On the roof of the building where he lived, he found himself lying down, looking at the sky. After so much training, he was tremendously exhausted. The difficulty of fusing 3 attributes made him question how much greater it would be. I organized and combined the 7 attributes several times, but made no progress. Would raising the level of the guidance technique help me successfully fuse all the techniques? They were at level 1. He remembered that the monthly exam would be the next day. For that, he would need to earn as many martial points as possible. The next day, Su-hong and dozens of other students headed to the academy's field. In front of them stood the principal with a microphone in hand. Students, this monthly exam is different from the previous ones due to the tense situation at the front lines. A training camp will be held every year from now on to select and intensively cultivate geniuses. The camp has abundant resources, not only large quantities of martial arts and pills, but also great masters serving as instructors. All the students heard about the reward. The top 3 students in the monthly exam would participate in the training camp in the City of Stars. They were excited to learn that a great master of rank 7 would be an instructor. Someone like that was much more powerful than the principal himself, who was only rank 3. Su-hong sighed, not believing that Lincoln had told him to get first place when the top 3 were already guaranteed passes to the camp. Su-hong's friend placed a hand on his shoulder. Shen Chan and Li Tu had become rank 1 martial artists. Many had mastered the basics of the Thunder Fist. We don't stand a chance. I've only been out of school for 10 days, and they have already become martial artists. His friend also revealed that lately, the principal had been dragging the senior Chen Tian, who taught the Thunderous Fist, to give private lessons to the talented ones. Chen Tian's and Li Tu's vitality had surpassed 100 points a few days ago, and their Thunderous Fist could echo 3 times. The competition between the 2 so-called geniuses was fierce. Shen Chan taunted, "This time I want to make everyone know who the true #1 genius is." Li Tu didn't fall behind. "When I defeat you, I hope you keep that confidence." Chantian met with Principal Li, who was coming down from the stage. "Old Li, have you found the genius with the Thunderous Fist of 9 echoes?" Director Li, however, denied it. "I searched everywhere recently and I don't know who that student is." Director Li furrowed his brow suddenly upon seeing a few people approaching. He questioned the man walking ahead of 2 young men. "Diane Ming, what are you doing in my school?" Diane Ming, taunting, said, "Old pal, the quality of your students this year is not good. I brought my 2 disciples. After the monthly exam, how about we let your best students duel against mine?" Director Li frowned, cursing internally. It was obvious that Young Ming wanted to embarrass him, but if he refused, he would be admitting that the school didn't even have anyone presentable. Young Ming continued to provoke. "Of course, the quality of your students seems low. You can refuse if you want." While provoking him, his disciples chatted among themselves, as they had noticed someone. Leon quickly approached, whispering to the director, "Professor, this is bad. Look over there. It's that guy, Su-hong." Upon hearing the name, John Ming turned to the students from Star City's #1 school. He recognized Su-hong among them and smiled. John Ming was startled to see him. He internally knew that if Leon or Li Ming faced him, they would definitely lose. Rather than being humiliated, he used an escape technique while still mocking his opponent. "Old Li, old Chen, don't be mad. I was just joking. We won't compete. My 2 disciples are trash. How could they compare to yours?" His 2 disciples also spoke in unison. "That's right, we admit defeat." Unaware that John Ming was afraid of Su-hong, Chen Tian and Director Li turned red with anger, tasting the flavor of sarcastic mockery. The duels went on all day. Soon, Su-hong was called to face Chen Peng. Su-hong's friend looked somberly, feeling sorry. His opponent is a near martial artist. What bad luck. Next to him, someone shouted, "Tu-hong, you can try to fight, but don't push yourself too hard. If you get hurt, it's not worth it." Chempeng assumed a fighting stance, mocking, "Are you going to give up, or do you need me to hit you?" While still speaking, Su-hong practically vanished as he advanced. In the next moment, Chempeng saw the sky upside down. Su-hong had grabbed him by the chin and spun, slamming his head into the ground. Su-hong's friend and the dojo master were shocked, unable to believe that this was the old Su they knew. He had instantly defeated an almost martial artist with a single move. The battles continued, and Su-ron kept winning. Surprise spread among the spectators. Su-hong won again. How is he so strong? Could he already be a level 1 martial artist? The next fight is the final. Chantian asked Director Lee where the student named Su Hong had come from because he was absent during my classes. Director Lee apologized for having neglected his duty. Director Lee was confused and shocked. How have I never noted a promising talent before? Why didn't I focus on preparing him? A talent was buried by me. Instructor Chintian somehow felt he had seen Su Hong before, but he couldn't quite remember from where. At that moment, Director Lee announced that the semi-final between Shen-chan and Li-Tu should be nearing its end. The strength between Shen-chan and Li-Tu was practically equal. It was hard to say who would win between the two. Li-Tu charged forward, his fist wrapped in chains of air. Shen-chan, we've both evolved this technique to level 3. If you don't use your final move, don't even think about defeating me. Shen-chan struck Li-Tu's fist with his own, equalizing the blow with his other hand. Shen-chan summoned strong flames. Li-Tu, you practiced your moves very well, but I am the number 1 in the whole school. In the audience, everyone was shocked to see Shen-chan use the attribute projection. The power he wielded was incredible, a fire attribute second only to electric. Confronting him, Li-Tu scoffed, "It's just attribute projection. Who can't do that?" The chains on Li-Tu's wrist transformed into a powerful metal attribute, surprising everyone once again. The metal attribute is an even stronger attribute than fire in combat. Li-Tu's punches were so fast they seemed illusory. 5 copies of Li-Tu's fist appeared as he used the Thunder Fist technique. Shen-chan was shocked to see to what level Li-Tu had elevated such a technique. The 5 thunderous strikes fell upon Shen-chan, sending him flying backward. Director Lee was stunned, realizing that Li-Tu had been hiding his true strength. Chantian was amazed, as it had only been 10 days and the young man had not only mastered the attribute projection, but also the Thunder Fist technique. Director Lee sighed, believing he wouldn't even have to watch the final, against a Thunder Fist at its final stage. And with the metal attribute, Su Hong wouldn't stand a chance. Chantian shared the director's opinion. What a pity. If Su Hong also knew a guidance technique and the Thunder Fist technique, he might have had a chance to fight. At that moment, another director approached. I bet 100,000 that Su Hong will take first place. Are you in? Director Lee thought his colleague was crazy, while Chantian promptly accepted the bet. As Surong and Li-Tu stepped onto the arena, Surong's friend shouted, "Go ahead, Surong! Come on!" The audience on the other side was also cheering for Li-Tu. "Stay focused! Don't embarrass yourself!" Li-Tu maintained the metal attribute in his hands, mocking, "You really are lucky. You didn't run into me or Tian-chan earlier and ended up making it to the finals." Su Hong had hunted so many fierce beasts that he found those students very weak. Finally, someone worth facing has arrived. Li-Tu declared, "Since you reached the finals, you can claim the title of second in the whole school." Su Hong, curious, asked who was the first. Li-Tu stepped forward, declaring, "Of course the first is me." He attacked confidently. "I just need one move to make him understand how great the difference is between us." Everyone was startled to see Li-Tu use the Thunderous Fist with 5 echoes. From the start, it ended as soon as Li-Tu's attack was unleashed. There was no way to fight back. Su Hong was going to lose. Su Hong's gaze sparkled with an intense fire. He counterattacked, testing the limits of his physical body. Everyone was shocked, thinking Su Hong was crazy for not trying to dodge and counterattack head-on. Su Hong threw countless punches, countering each of Li-Tu's strikes. In the end, one final punch between Su Hong and Li-Tu collided, canceling each other out. Li-Tu was astonished to see someone neutralize his 5 Echo Thunderous fist in an instant. He refused to accept having drawn with his most powerful attack and continued to throw punches with all his strength. Li-Tu was pushing himself so hard that he began to tire. "This guy is a monster! Every blocked attack is so heavy!" The instructor next to Su Hong's friend was left speechless. Su Hong was not using any martial arts skills, and yet was fighting on equal terms with Li-Tu, who was using the 5 Echo Thunderous Fist. Chen Tian, the technique instructor, speculated that Su Hong had some kind of special physique, otherwise his strength wouldn't be so exaggerated. Director Lee smiled excitedly. "Ha ha ha, my school truly produced a genius with a special physique." However, Chen Tian didn't think Su Hong would win, even though Su Hong's strength was impressive. Li-Tu had already condensed an attribute, while Su Hong still had no advantage after numerous confrontations between Su Hong and Li-Tu. Both stepped back. Li-Tu roared furiously, channeling his energy from the metal element to the max. "Su Hong, don't be arrogant, I will be the winner." He charged at Su Hong, daring, "Defeat me if you can." Initially, Su Hong wanted to see how well Li-Tu could fight using only physical strength, but Li-Tu was unable to hold back and exploded with all his might. Very quickly, as Li-Tu was going all out, Su Hong decided to raise the stakes. Lightning appeared in his hand, revealing an attribute. Su Hong, advanced equally. I will put in some effort as well. Upon seeing the thunder with Su-hong using the attribute projection, Litu was dumbfounded. Director Lee and Qin nearly jumped from their seats. The director shouted, "Astonishing! Thunder attribute. Su-hong has already mastered a guiding technique." Chen, next to him, repeated, "A special physique and the strongest attribute. His talent is impressive." The metal fist and thunder fist collided, creating a shockwave. Litu did not back down, continuing to attack, but he felt that Su-hong's thunder attribute was stronger than the metal he possessed. Su-hong smiled confidently. "You have already shown me your final move. Now I will show you mine." A golden glint appeared in Su-hong's eyes, and the attribute in his fist strengthened even more. New continuous punches struck Litu, defeating him instantly. Litu felt each of the 9 strikes and wondered how such a thing was possible. Su-hong defeated Litu by throwing him to the ground. The arena crowd fell completely silent. It was only after a few seconds that emotions took over everyone. The thundering fist with 9 echoes is the stage of perfection. Su-hong's thundering fist is more powerful than the one from the professor who taught him. Seeing the 9 echoes of the thundering fist, Qin understood who Su-hong really was. He is that genius who disappeared days ago. Director Lee stammered as he replied, "This is not just an ordinary genius. He is the dragon of our school, #1 in the City of Stars Chantian. I can already imagine what will happen when this type of prodigy goes to the training camp. I wonder about the impact this will have on the geniuses with illustrious family backgrounds. A golden scale is not an ordinary fish. When it meets the wind and the clouds, it transforms into a dragon. For Su-hong, our City of Stars is nothing more than a small puddle." Director Lee agreed with him. In this training camp, Su-hong is destined to become a hidden dragon, emerging from the abyss and reaching great heights. The magic capital, the imperial capital, and even the battlefield of the heavens are places where prodigies truly shine. A 6-seater car crossed the Tianlin Mountains. Su-hong, Director Litu, and Chen Shan were heading to the training camp. Su-hong knew that the Tianlin Mountain crossed the cities of the Star, Yang City, and several others. There were hidden beasts there that rivaled rank 7 masters. The competition in the area was fierce. Even the beasts in the outer area of the mountain would be a threat. As the car followed the road, beasts lurked in hiding. Chen Shan ended up commenting how he felt that something was watching them, leaving him scared, with adrenaline rising in the face of danger. Su-hong thought he might be going crazy. Soon the group arrived at the training camp and saw numerous people staring at them with unfriendly looks. They remained silent. Su-hong didn't care and led the group. A man stopped them, warning that they would need to wait for everyone's arrival for the entrance exam to take place. Suddenly a commotion began. Several luxury cars approached the camp entrance. From the cars, several arrogant young women got out. They were all famous figures like the goddess Xiao Yan, beautiful and kind, or Lin Xingui, from the Lin family, who was also among them. The son of the city lord, known as the barbarian god, Wang Tiantuo, followed the 3, who were close to Su-hong, who watched them with a smile. If these were the geniuses of the city, he wanted to see how good they were. With everyone's arrival, the organizer began to explain the rules of the entrance exam. The training camp was located inside the mountain, 30 kilometers away from the current camp. There were tokens inside some beasts around that area. They could only enter the camp if they obtained them. Crossing 30 kilometers in 8 hours was easy, but since they were in Tianlin, Litu and Chen Shan thought they might face complications. Su-hong, on the other hand, thought it would be very simple. A person asked what would happen if they encountered a beast stronger than them. The organizer sneered, "That'll be your bad luck." Complaints began to arise about the unfairness. The man scolded them, "Fairness? This world is not a game. After meticulously cultivating for more than 10 years, you arrive at the battlefield of all heavens only to be casually taken down by a powerful warrior passing by. You will protest, saying this is also unfair." He instructed them to act with caution if they didn't want to encounter beasts that were too strong. Mitigating risks, hunting weaker prey, and using the advantage of numbers were laws on the battlefield. A young man in a suit agreed, telling anyone who was scared to leave early. This provoked another young man beside him, who almost started a fight. The organizer warned, "Fighting is prohibited in the camp, but once you enter the mountain, we won't intervene. If you want to steal tokens from others or fight just because you don't like each other, feel free." The atmosphere heated up when they realized they could fight. Su-hong saw how tough the training ground was. Under such rules, probably half the people would be eliminated. Su-hong thought, on the bright side, that he could earn points if he fought. Also, the instructor announced the start of the training and everyone rushed through the gates. The duo that had argued earlier chased after each other. It didn't take long for them to use their powers and start a fight. Their fists initially clashed, and a flurry of rapid punches rained down on each other as they fought. Su-hong watched. He was not impressed with their strength. The protagonist left them behind, deciding to hunt the beasts instead. The battle between that duo was fierce, each staring down the other while provoking one another. The noise they made bothered Su-hong. He decided not to pass up the free points he found. The protagonist appeared, interrupting the fight, holding a club. He announced, "Play with me too," the young man who initially started the argument. He cursed his rival, but it was the other one who was punished with a kick that sent him flying across the forest and crashing into a tree. The young man in a suit looked back, shocked to see the competitor who fought him with equal strength being defeated by a single attack. Su-hong approached him, wielding a club. The protagonist didn't give him time to dodge and ended the fight even before it started. The second competitor fell to the ground. The protagonist taught him a lesson for underestimating common cultivators. Meanwhile, Su-rong was being watched in the monitoring center, leaving those who were watching him impressed. The instructor ordered them not to send help, letting the competition continue. Sometime later, the duo that had been defeated woke up. The young man in the suit felt humiliated while the other blamed himself for underestimating the enemy. They ended up looking at each other and apologized, recognizing each other's strengths. The two bonded like brothers, swearing they would take revenge. Meanwhile, Su-hong advanced through the forest. He noticed something, and following a sound, found a herd of wild boars. The beasts spotted him as well and charged in his direction. Against the beasts with prominent tusks, Su-hong used the 9 echoes of the Thunder Fist. In an instant, the beasts, which were even larger than him, fell. The protagonist earned some martial points. He was used to gaining dozens, but he wasn't getting many since the beasts were not of high level. Hurriedly, he took down the wild boars, trying to find a token. Even after checking a dozen beasts, he found nothing. Su-hong continued advancing through the forest, spending half an hour reaching the deeper areas. Upon entering the first 3 kilometers of the forest, he encountered dozens of low-level beasts per hour, but now he wasn't finding any. Just as he began to worry, a black tiger appeared, charging in his direction. That was the first high-level beast. From the first order he encountered, the shadow tiger of the night was a great target for the piercing finger of emptiness. The tiger was hit squarely and fell to the ground. Su-hong lunged and finished the beast by stabbing his sword into it. This time, Su-hong earned 35 martial points. He easily defeated the beast with his strength. Upon opening it, he hoped to find a token. Finally, Su-hong found what he was looking for. It took almost 3 hours to manage it. Thinking for a moment, he realized that the deeper he went into the forest, the higher the level of the beasts was. However, they appeared in smaller numbers. Having found only one in 30 minutes, he concluded that hunting a larger quantity in the outer area would yield him more points. He decided to seek quantity over quality. There were still 4 hours left until the end of the assessment, and he intended to gain as many martial points as possible to strengthen his body. In one area, several servants had been eliminated, staining a river red. He could also see the bodies of wild boars scattered around the place. A bear attacked Su-hong while he was defeating the last wild boar. He dodged the attack, feeling excited to encounter the first medium-tier beast. His fist filled with power, and the strike sent the monster flying away. With a single punch from Su-hong, the bear was rendered unable to fight. Still, it survived, and Su-hong advanced, delivering the mercy blow. With yet another medium-tier beast defeated, he reached nearly 65% of his mortal body. Now he could defeat medium-tier beasts of the first order using only his raw physical strength, having obtained more than 250 points. If he could manage another 100, he could further advance his mortal body. With about 3 hours left, Su-hong believed that was enough time. He drew the spear and resumed hunting until he heard a noise coming from the forest and wondered what type of beast it could be. When he looked up, he saw above the trees the legendary king of beasts, the Golden Roc. The beast that resembled a phoenix let out a shrill cry and, with the beating of its wings, created a powerful gust of wind that almost knocked Su-hong down. Trees began to fall before the shockwave. Su-hong jumped over some rocks, trying to keep himself steady. The force of the Golden Roc made him realize that, before the experts, he was just an ant. Su-hong suddenly noticed something, a ball of light before the Golden Bird. The Grand Master of Rank 7, Qin-tian-li, emerged to challenge the Golden Bird creature. "I am the owner of this territory. What are you doing here?" the legendary beast retorted, speaking in the human language. "I never said I would give you the forest to you." Qin-tian-li challenged her, and a clash between the two began in the sky. Qin-tian-li's fist met the bird's headbutt. The creature tore through the sky with its cry, infuriating the old man. "You are too noisy!" A rain of punches was unleashed by Qin-tian-li. Each strike hit the legendary bird, causing irreversible damage. Qin-tian-li stepped back, warning, "Don't make me say it again! I am taking this land for myself!" The bird fled, vowing that one day it would return. With safety assured, Qin-tian-li transmitted his voice throughout the forest. All young competitors, there is no need to panic. The competition will continue. Su Hong was impressed by the strength of the rank 7 man. He vowed that he would soon reach that level. Qintian Li returned to the base and told those who were waiting for him that he had expelled the Golden Rock. The 2 rank 5 martial artists, Lin Zhe and Bai Mu, welcomed him, recognizing the strength of the legendary beast and praising Qintian Li for defeating it. Qintian Li ignored the flattery, instructing them to follow him to the monitoring room. Lin Zhe showed the recordings, revealing that many of the participants could not withstand the pressure of the Golden Rock. Kim Tian Li was impressed by a young barbarian. After defeating some final stage black tigers from Tier 1, he managed to withstand the pressure of the Golden Rock. What is his name? Bai Mu found the information about Wang Tiantuo. He was high rank in Tier 1, had 340 points of IQ, 95% affinity with fire. Moreover, he possessed the body of the barbarian god, incredible strength, and was the son of the lord of the castle city. Tian Li recalled that the castle city leader liked to have children like one plays the lottery. With over 100 children, someone powerful would arise at some point. Kim Tian Li also praised Ling Sheng's movements, who was at a similar level to Wang Tiantuo and had 96% affinity with wind. Xiaoyan's telekinetic abilities also impressed. With fewer points than the other two, she still had 95% affinity with wood. Kim Tian Li asked if anyone else had withstood the pressure. Bai Mu listed some names. Cynthian Li frowned and crossed his arms upon hearing that they were all from great families. He was curious about students from school number 1. Unfortunately, Bai Mu had to deliver bad news. They were all just at the initial stage of the first tier. When Quintian Li was about to give up, Lindsay pointed at the screen. There was someone who had already gone back to hunting. Emu went to look for the information and stammered, "He is from school number 1 in Star City." "Monster!" Confused, Lindsay asked not to call someone that way and grabbed the information notebook, but his reaction was the same. "Monster." Irritated, Tian Li scolded them. Being both rank 5, he wanted to know what kind of genius they still hadn't seen. However, as soon as he saw Su Hong's profile, he was shocked. 100% affinity in all attributes, plus he had a special physique. Even Quintian Leah screamed. There is such a monster in the world. The power in the old has overflowed. A crazy exotic one can really emerge from a remote place like the City of Stars, once in a century, not a rare encounter in a millennium. I found a gold mine, but he stopped, questioning why Su Hong was still only in the initial stage of the first tier. Bai Mu smiled awkwardly, revealing that he was cultivating 7 guidance techniques. Master Tim was furious. How can he grow like this? The Link Xian owes me explanations. At that moment, an employee informed that the participants were returning. Tim Li received Xiaoyan, Ling Sheng, and the Ancient Tour, praising them. When 6 hours passed, several other people began to return. Half an hour left, everyone started to wonder if someone had been left behind. Kim Tian Li wondered why Su Hong had not returned yet. He didn't want his precious treasure to be eliminated. It was then that he saw the young man emerge from the trees. Su Hong arrived in the last minutes. He was so focused on gaining martial points that he almost forgot the time. Everyone stared at him and, seeing him completely dirty, wondered what he had been through. The duo that Su Hong defeated at the beginning of the competition also saw him. The young man in the suit wanted to attack him, but the other stopped him. Lynching waved a fan and commented, "Passing at the last minute, this guy is an expert." Chao Ian balanced some stones and just commented that it was interesting. Wan Tiantu remained silent, meditating. The coordinator announced that at 8 o'clock they had finished. Those who did not return were eliminated. Then, he explained the rules of the training camp. There were several areas at the site: the gravity training room, the movement skills training room, and the beast combat room. Finally, there was the martial arts pavilion, where they would find weapons, pills, and skills. The highest rank among them was rank A. The protagonist believed he had made the right choice. Upon hearing that, Instructor Lynx warned to use them. However, they need to produce contribution points. For that, they must pass several tests. The better their performance, the better the rewards. As it was getting late, he advised, "Whoever can still train, go. Injured students, follow me to the dorms." The protagonist was impressed to see that the rooms were separated. Now he wouldn't have to worry about being seen while cultivating and evolving. He sat on the bed and, having enough points, spent everything on strengthening the mortal body. With each point spent, the energy inside him rose until it reached 100%, allowing his evolution. The energy flowed through the meridians. It overflowed, affecting the area around Su Rong. Just moving already released a devastating power, which left him impressed. In the information, the characteristic sovereign body emerged, something he had never seen before. As he could still evolve, he was excited to test his physique. Grabbing the spear, he prepared to go out. Unexpectedly, the weapon's handle, at the point he held, bent, almost breaking under his strength. He sighed. He had spent a fortune on that spear. However, being at the training center, he realized he could earn points to exchange it for a new one. There was a test in which points could be earned just by wearing a heavy outfit. He decided to test it to see how far he could go. In the storage, someone was wearing a 3,000-kilogram outfit. It was Wang Tiantao, who even jumped in the air, finding it light. Xiao Yan and Lin Xing recognized their companion's monstrous strength. In the observation room, King Tianli praised the barbarian's power. Bai Mu asked when they should talk about Su Hong. Old Tim stated that they couldn't be direct. Geniuses were arrogant, and attacking him with words would have the opposite effect of what they wanted. First, they needed to find out what he was capable of, and have him give up on his own. Kim Tianli asked if the night attack team was ready. Lin Zeno, however, stated that they would need more time to organize each student. He believed that, with the students having just finished the entrance exam, they would be relaxed. The night attack would cause them to panic. Tianli ordered to assign a high-rank martial artist from the first tier to face Su Hong. I want him to be crushed. Thus, I will explain the problems of practicing 7 training arts so that he gives up the idea. The duo of rank 5 was surprised, as that could be excessive. Quintian Li, however, insisted, claiming he was doing it for the boys' sake. Su Hong was walking outside. He arrived alone at the storage room, as everyone had followed Wang Tiantu to the gravity room. The protagonist picked up a bracelet meant to calculate points. Then, he approached the vests. The maximum weight reached 10 tons, which shocked him. Holding one in his arms, he felt how heavy it was. Although he could wear it, it would affect his speed. Su Rong opted for a 5-ton vest and began training with it. The protagonist wondered how much Wang Tiantu, focused on physical strength, would be able to endure. He put on the shirt over the vest and ran to the gravity room, wanting to see how far the other could go. Everyone was impressed with the barbarian. He entered the gravity room without taking off the 3-ton vest. With the gravity set to double, the vest became 6,000 kilos heavy. The protagonist was confused and wondered why Wang Tiantu wore something so light. He spotted Chen Shan and Lido. The two had not gone to the training area. They revealed that, being weaker, they did not want to be embarrassed. The protagonist sighed and headed toward the gravity room. As Su Hong wore a long-sleeved shirt, everyone thought he wasn't wearing a weight vest and started to complain. The protagonist ignored them and entered the gravity room. That kind of facility was extremely rare, something only large clans possessed. Common martial artists didn't even have the chance to see them, and he didn't intend to waste that opportunity. The protagonist imagined he could last only 10 minutes with double gravity, as he wore a 5-ton vest. Therefore, he decided to adjust to 1.5. As soon as the pressure was applied, he staggered but managed to hold firm. The people who believed he wasn't wearing any weight began to mock him. Su Hong sat on the floor and began his cultivation. 2 hours passed quickly. He was sweating intensely. Except for thunder and fire, all the guidance techniques leveled up, and his blood IQ score reached 130. Realizing how effective the gravity room was, Su Hong wanted to test the movement room and the beast room as well. When he came out of the gravity room, he was exhausted. As soon as he stepped out, some mocked, "Look how tired he is. Even without a weight suit, he could barely handle 50% more gravity." At that moment, feeling very hot, Su Hong took off his jacket and revealed the vest, leaving everyone around in shock. When Su Hong removed the weight vest, those around him thought it weighed at most 500 kilos. The protagonist carefully placed the vest on the ground, and they started to ignore him, as Wang Tiantu was coming out of the gravity room. After enduring 6 tons for 2 hours, everyone was impressed by how sweaty he was. Wang Tiantu took off the vest and threw it on the ground, causing a thud. Then, he relaxed his muscles. Lin Xing approached him, asking if he would like to go to the movement room to compete. Remembering that Lin Xing had a movement technique of rank, Wang Tiantu did not want to compete with him. The protagonist overheard the conversation and saw an opportunity to improve his movement technique. Everyone headed to the movement training room. Lin Xing's art of movement, the steps of the cloud of the flying swan, surprised everyone. He demonstrated a technique so fast that it perfectly dodged spears. Moreover, it was powerful and beautiful. Flower petals seemed to emerge, matching his pale skin and white hair. The protagonist watched him, and the option to learn the technique arose. He began to move, and soon they mocked him. Does he really think he can copy Lin Xing's technique? Time passed, and the similarity between the movements increased with each attempt. Soon, upon reaching 100%, Su Hong completely mastered the steps of the cloud of the flying swan. However, the movements were so extravagant that he felt a bit embarrassed. As he returned to reality, the protagonist decided that he no longer needed to train in the movement room, since he had acquired a new technique. He decided to go to the beast room. Before leaving, he noticed some men staring at him and praising him. It was impressive, so beautiful. Su Hong realized that he had also replicated the technique in the real world and quickly left, swearing never to imitate Lin Xing again. Suddenly, he felt that someone was following him. As he moved forward, the duo he had defeated earlier that day reappeared in the beast room. There were 2 people surrounded by a crowd at the main gate. A man was challenging Xiaoyan in combat against beasts. She wanted to find out who was number one in the training field. Wang Tiantu was the challenger. Don't you think you can defeat my barbaric body just by relying on your spiritual power? Right, you are underestimating me, she retorted. You are the one underestimating the power of a spiritual reader. The protagonist overheard the conversation and decided to watch them before going to hunt beasts. When Xiaoyan entered the beast room, she began to float in the air. Su Hong was impressed. In the middle of the air, she formed a golden energy, and the attack hit 3 tigers, eliminating them instantly. A shadow tiger, even more powerful, appeared behind her. However, with a simple wave of her hand, Shaolin used her power to control it. With another movement, she launched a spiritual claw attack that destroyed the beast. The protagonist understood the power behind that. She used weapons made of energy, like light daggers, electrokinesis to control the enemy, and also to manipulate weapons. He realized how powerful a spiritual reader was. Suddenly, everyone saw a giant sword being formed, created with spiritual power by Xiaoyan. She used it to destroy a colossal snake. Su Hong was left speechless by such a demonstration. Lin Xing, noticing the surprise of the others, explained, "That is a unique ranking technique." People were even more impressed and asked if he also had techniques of that level and if Wang Tiantu had any. Lin Xing confirmed, stating that Wang Tiantu also possessed an offensive ranking technique. Upon discovering that there were ranking techniques everywhere, Su Hong was pleased he had come to the camp. Everyone continued watching the contest between Xiaoyan and Wang Chantu. The protagonist realized that Antu would not use his offensive technique at that moment and decided that he would try to copy it in the future. Now, he wanted to obtain the ability of a spiritual reader, but his spirit statistic was only 26 points. It was necessary to reach at least 100 to learn it. With so many points still missing, he finally decided to go hunting. The duo that was pursuing him saw his exit as an opportunity to attack him. Suddenly, one of them shouted, pointing at the big screen. There was someone challenging more than a dozen beasts at the same time, all at high level of the first rank. That person was completely insane. It was too late for the duo following Su Hong to call the instructors to save him. The protagonist, already inside the beast room, challenged the creatures. Snakes and giant scorpions attacked him at the same time. He dodged a scorpion's claw, and with the piercing finger of the void eliminated it. Energy surged in the palm of Su Hong's hand as he moved among the beasts, hitting one by one. The duo that followed him thought they were dreaming until they noticed something familiar. The technique used by Su Hong was lynching. In shock, one looked at the other. The young man in the suit questioned if it was possible that Su Hong came from a great family. The other wondered if he had learned the technique just by seeing it once. Whatever the answer, that was absurd. The bald young man asked if they should give up on revenge, but the other, still holding the club, hesitated to back down. The friend then pointed to the big screen, telling him to watch again before deciding. The club fell to the ground. The man could no longer even hold it. While they talked for a few minutes, 10 high-tier beasts of the first order were eliminated. The protagonist earned 80 points. He needed just 7 more to achieve what he wanted. He then realized that the stronger he became, the harder it would be to earn points. Without wasting time, he continued advancing through the beast room. New beasts emerged from their nests, and Su Hong immediately challenged them. Night Shadow tigers attacked him from behind. He turned around and unleashed punches charged with the power of thunder. Surrounded by monsters, Su Hong noticed that they hesitated to attack him. He then began to chase them. The duo outside remained silent. The one who still insisted on revenge finally realized it wasn't worth it and gave up. When they returned to the area where everyone was watching, Xiaoyan and Wang Tiantuo, someone noticed them. "You guys are back? Weren't you going for revenge? Did you manage to defeat him?" The duo was startled and hid the truth. That person was simply absurd. At that moment, Xiaoyan and Wang Tiantuo came out of the beast room. Tiantuo had scored 280 points. Xiaoyan lost by just 10. They had earned so many points that the people around were completely shocked. In the end, Wang Tiantuo got an additional 100 points by adding the score from the weighted clothing, while Xiaoyan only managed half of that. The people around looked at their own scores. Most had only managed 10 or 20 points. Lin Xing approached, asking who had won the hunting competition, while watching the duo that tried to hunt Su Hong, sneering internally. No one there knew that there was an even more terrifying monster in the training field. An hour later, Su Hong finished his own hunt. In the hall where he was, bodies of dozens of beasts were scattered. He felt exhausted, but he still hadn't reached the score he desired. With 700 contribution points, Su Hong began to think about what he could exchange. He went to the martial arts pavilion. At the reception, he noticed a ledger. There were Tier 1 pills starting at 10 points and Rank A skills starting at 2,000 points. He pondered for a moment about what to buy. The young woman at the reception asked, disinterested, if he had already made his choice. The protagonist questioned if the spiritual focus pill could increase mental power. The young woman confirmed but warned that the effect only worked once. The higher the tier of the pill, the better the result. The tier 4 pill cost 500 contribution points. He stated that he would buy it, startling the receptionist. She quickly clarified that the price was 500 points, not 50. Su-hong confirmed and showed his bracelet. Upon seeing that he had 700 points, the young woman was shocked. Her attitude changed immediately and, with a smile, handed him a wooden box containing the pill. The protagonist asked if there were spears made of metal alloy with attributes of lightning and fire. Delighted, she answered that such a weapon would only cost 200 points. Su-hong acquired a double attribute spear, thunder, and fire. With his blood IQ strengthened, he reached 490 martial points. The progress made in a single day surpassed what would normally take an entire week. Even so, he still needed 255 points to reach 100 in mental power. He took the tier 4 pill, hoping it would grant him what was missing. Without hesitation, he swallowed it, determined to obtain the spiritual reader ability. After consuming the pill, it traveled down his meridians. Just swallowing it made its effects start to emerge. The exhausted nerves relaxed, bringing a pleasant sensation. His mind became clearer, allowing him to feel everything around him. Su-hong opened his eyes and discovered that the tier 4 pill had increased his mental power by 24 points. With that amount added to the martial points he had, he was only 0.5% away from reaching his goal. He lay down on the bed, thinking it was a pity, and decided to rest for the next day. In the training field storage, members of the event organization team gathered. Some wore masks and waited for their tasks. A group of acquaintances from university greeted each other. A man named Bujin Feng was asked, "Are you here waiting for the geniuses?" The man, with the sides of his hair shaved and a mohawk. He replied arrogantly, "If I were still in school, those boys wouldn't even be qualified to be my training partners." A big guy showed his own record, revealing that Wang Tiantuo, his opponent, had 340 key points, and mocked, "You weren't at that level back then, were you, Pudding?" Feng was surprised while the others laughed. Another revealed that he would face Ling Sheng, who also had over 300 chi points. A man with binoculars commented that he would face a spiritual reader. Bu Jingfeng took his own record and complained, "Why are your students so strong? Mine is only at the early stage of Tier 1, with 123 blood chi points." His colleagues were shocked, as they knew Bu Jingfeng was stronger than them, and began to wonder if Grandmaster Tim had made a mistake. Tim Lee himself answered, "There are no mistakes." So confused, Bu Jingfeng asked if he was being underestimated. Quintian Lee, however, explained, "Su-hong is not so simple. Despite the low level, he can rival someone of the high level of Tier 1. The group was shocked, wondering what kind of monster that was. King Tianlia warned that some information about Su-rong was private, but Jingfeng would understand when he faced him. Still, Bu Jingfeng didn't seem convinced. Then Kimchi and Lee slapped him. "Do what I'm saying! Go all out! It will be even better if Su Huang starts questioning his own life choices." Scratching his head, Bu Jingfang asked if the master had any grudge against the young man. Smiling mischievously, the Grandmaster replied, "If you complete the mission, I won't just overlook any mistakes. I will reward you with the command of Quintian Lee." Everyone began to move. Each headed to the dormitories, raiding the participants' rooms. Desperate screams echoed across the training camp. Su Hong was abruptly awakened. Someone kicked down the door to his room and stormed in. Su Hong's bed was hit and he jumped to dodge. The protagonist misinterpreted the situation, remembering that Miria from Derasas often hunted human geniuses. He thought that man was part of that group. Grabbing the spear, Su Hong prepared to face him. Budin Feng charged in as expected, just a top-tier spoiled brat. "You weren't lucky to run into me." Su Hong was surprised to realize that the man was a high-level human warrior from Tier 1 and not someone from Miria from Derasas. That was exactly what he needed. If he defeated him, he could gain the remaining points. Jin Feng's eyes widened, thinking that Su Hong had lost his mind by confronting him directly. As they exchanged blows, Budin Feng realized the truth. The information was wrong. That young man didn't just possess the power of an ordinary Tier 1 warrior. Su Hong thrust with all his might, shouting as he released his energy. Budin Feng was thrown back. He used his great sword to avoid falling, shaking after the impact. Still, he trusted that a battle between warriors wasn't just about brute strength. It was the first time Su Hong faced a martial artist with the fire attribute. Purple flames surrounded Budin Feng's sword as he charged again. "I'll deal with you using my rank B martial art!" The flaming strike came crashing down on Su Hong. The protagonist realized that the opponent's technique was more powerful than the void-piercing finger. He wielded the spear and thrust it against the sword. The spear's tip struck the blade, deflecting the attack and causing it to hit the ceiling, debris falling all over the room. The two stared at each other. Budin Feng was stunned. The young man had blocked his attack solely with brute strength, without using any martial arts. Now he understood why Intianli had sent him. Holding the sword, the examiner sighed. What a shame you don't know spear skills of the lightning attribute. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to defeat him. Smiling, the protagonist agreed, but decided to show something more. Using the lightning attribute on the spear, he added the fire attribute on top. Upon seeing that, Buding Feng nearly fainted. That was the fusion of attributes. Attributes repelled each other. It was something every warrior understood. The fusion of attributes, on the other hand, was something Jing Feng believed to be just a legend. A gleam appeared in Su Hong's eyes. He was the one who attacked, forcing the opponent to defend. In despair, Buding Feng unleashed the flaming strike. The attack was deflected, and all the power returned against him. The fire and thunder engulfed him. Before that overwhelming power, Jing Feng was thrown against the dormitory wall, breaking through it and falling outside. With the victory, the protagonist obtained 7 martial points. That was enough to acquire the spiritual reader technique. A few seconds earlier, Kim Tian-li was outside, next to Bai Mu, waiting. He believed Su Hong would have already been defeated and was even preparing excuses to convince him to give up practicing multiple techniques. Suddenly, the wall was destroyed, and someone was thrown out of the building. Buding Feng fell to the ground unconscious. Tian-li was shocked. Seeing Jin Feng defeated made Bai Mu question, was it Su Hong who defeated him? Shortly after, 3 more people were thrown out of the building's windows. Jin Feng's companions, Lin Xing commented, Grandmaster Tim, send someone stronger next time. These weren't enough. The anti-Anto noticed a 4th fallen person, while Xiao Yan wondered if someone had really defeated their opponent before them. Lin Xinghe believed the 4th defeated one was the weakest. However, Bai Mu knew the truth. Jing Feng was the strongest among the 4. Tintian Li wondered how Su Hong had defeated his opponent faster than the other 3 young ones. Perhaps he possessed a high-level martial skill or even a special constitution. Suddenly, Lindsay appeared, claiming that something big had happened. Tintian Li asked if any student had died, treating it as something common. She quickly interrupted him. It's not Su Hong. While fighting Bujing Feng, he used a fusion technique. The Grandmaster felt it distractedly. Oh, so that's it. He cultivates 7 techniques. It's no wonder he defeated Jing Feng. In the middle of the sentence, Tian Li froze, realizing what he had said. He exploded. Stop saying nonsense, Lindsay insisted, stating that Su Hong had fused thunder and fire to defeat Jin Feng, and it had all been recorded on the monitors. You can ask him. At that moment, Jin Feng regained consciousness and confirmed the story. Kim Tian-li refused to believe it. The only known human genius to achieve such a feat took 10 years to do it. Lindsay added, according to the records, Su Hong trained for only 1 month. Tintian-li was overwhelmed with emotion. A monster! No, a star! A dragon has emerged among men. Bai Mu asked if the fusion technique was really that powerful. The old man explained that with it, someone at Tier 1 could even surpass an opponent at Tier 2. Bai Mu then questioned why no one was encouraged to pursue that path nowadays. Tintian Li replied, many have tried, but discovered that the technique was not just difficult. There was a great chance of completely ruining the cultivation of anyone who failed. The flame in the old man's eyes intensified. But Su Hong managed it in less than a month. This level of understanding is absurd, and he possesses 7 attributes. If he manages to fuse them all, what kind of power will he achieve? The Grandmaster could already glimpse the future. If a monster like this grows, it could surprise the emperors of the 10,000 races with a single strike. Bai Mu and Lindsay thought that was an exaggeration. Merging 2 attributes was already extremely difficult, let alone 7. Realizing this, the old man held back and apologized. Still, he reflected that even if Su Hong got stuck in merging 3 attributes, he would still have an extraordinary future. Linz remembered another point. Su Hong likely had a special constitution, since his strength had surpassed Jing Feng's. The old man turned, surprised. Why didn't he say that before? Someone with just over 120 vitality points defeating someone with almost 500 was something too impressive. Everyone agreed that Su Hong had an uncommon constitution. Kim Tian-li then ordered, organize a confrontation tomorrow. I want to test Su Hong's combat power and his vitality in all aspects, and bring Wang Tian-tu and the other 2 to face him. The old Grandmaster wanted to see what would happen when a monster like Su Hong faced the strongest geniuses of the camp. Su Hong sat in front of the hole in the wall. He put all the martial points into spirit, as if he could read the world. He became a spiritual reader. A strange feeling arose, as if a 3rd arm had been created. After opening his eyes, he sighed, looked at the messy bed, and lifted it with the new power. He tested a little more and began to walk in the air, using psychokinesis. Now he really wanted to learn the ranking martial art used by Xiaoyan, as well as Wang Tiantu's offensive technique. The next morning, all the students were ordered to gather quickly or lose points. They ran, jumping downstairs to avoid being late, and soon a crowd formed. Su Hong stretched as he approached where the instructor was. He saw that no one was late. Lindsay laughed out loud. I expected that some wouldn't be able to get out of bed, but I was wrong, ha ha ha. One of the young men complained, "Instructor, I could have won yesterday, but the martial artist launched a sneak attack. He didn't even wait for me to put on my underwear and already aimed for my legs." Lindsay got annoyed hearing so many details. If you had been ambushed by the myriad of races, do you really think they would wait? Some gathered around the young man and mocked. "I think we should now call you Brother Underwear. Ha ha ha." The protagonist acknowledged that it was normal to feel frustrated, but there was nothing to complain about. The instructor then explained the next step. This would be a comprehensive test that would evaluate blood, combat power, spirit, strength, and speed. After that, there would be a real combat ranking, and the top 10 would receive rewards. The trio of twins was already expecting this. Everyone looked at them. The other competitors would compete for the other 7 spots. The protagonist, upon hearing this, wondered what the reward for first place would be. The instructor ordered everyone to be silent and follow him. They went to the storage room, where a temporary testing field had been set up. Quintian Lee was watching Su Hong. He remained discreet among the crowd. A young man next to him thought that the Grandmaster was watching him, but Su Hong knew the truth. Suddenly, Kim Tian Lee announced, "I have high expectations for you all, so I made a last-minute decision. Whoever comes in first place in the overall scoring, combat power, blood IQ, and speed, will receive an additional martial art or movement technique of rank A of their choice." Everyone got excited. Wang Tiantuo's family had few techniques of that level. Xiaoyan desired first place, while Ling Sheng believed that, with his movement technique, no one could surpass him. Su Hong was the most eager to obtain ranked techniques and test his abilities. He observed carefully, wanting to see his true talent. He announced, "Lin Xingui will be first, Xiaoyan second, Wang Tiantu third, and in fourth, Su Hong." Everyone looked at him confused. They remembered that Su Hong had been the last to arrive for the entrance exam. Some wished him luck. Others wondered if he had offended the Grandmaster. Some even believed that it was meant to embarrass him, placing the 3 strongest first, followed by the weakest. Before Lin Xingui could attack, Lin Se reminded him, first the physical test, then the combat power with martial arts. Lin Xingui prepared and threw a heavy punch. The scoreboard displayed 4,013 points. This impressed many, leaving their eyes wide open. Su Hong internally praised him. For someone focused on movement, his strength was remarkable. Then, Lin Qing used a secret cloud fist technique, propelled by the wind. His strike raised the score to 5,642, impressing the protagonist even more, who observed attentively, learning the technique, but wasn't very interested. The increase in power wasn't significant for him. Xiaoyan walked past Ling Sheng and teased, "Look at you, so proud." He laughed, wishing him good luck. Xiaoyan's combat power was measured, 3,253 points. Su Hong expected this. His true strength was in spiritual mastery. Using his power, Xiaoyan manifested a gigantic hammer while assimilating her technique. Su Hong smiled, curious to find out how many other martial arts he would still learn. The hammer came crashing down on the large testing machine, causing a loud boom. Xiaoyan scored over 5,900 points, almost 6,000, surpassing even Lin Xing. His spiritual technique practically doubled his score. While some felt envy, Su Rong closed his eyes. Assimilating every detail of the technique internally, he executed it in his practice world. When he returned to reality, he took a deep breath, feeling a bit tired. The art of weapon condensation could form not only weapons, but also tables, chairs, and even beasts. However, the more solid the creation, the greater the consumption of spiritual power. Su Hong couldn't learn the technique immediately due to the difference in his spiritual power and decided to leave it for later. He still wanted to observe more skills, and Tian Tuo took the stage, and everyone awaited to see his combat power. The protagonist wondered what the difference would be between the body of the barbarian god and his own sovereign body. Raising his fist, Wang Tiantuo declared, "Watch closely. This is the only blow that represents the distance between you and me." His punch struck the machine with brutal force, raising dust. Using only physical strength, he was just 300 points below Li Jing, employing a martial art with more than 5,300 points. Kim Tian Li praised him, and Tian Tuo responded with respect. Then, the moment came to demonstrate his combat art, exactly what Su Hong expected. An ethereal energy emerged around his fist, becoming denser and denser. Kim Tian Li recognized it. It was the ethereal Fire Phantom Fist, a ranking technique. Su Hong remembered that this technique cost 2,800 points at the martial arts pavilion. Tian Tuo's eyes shone with ghostly energy as he struck the machine, raising the score to 7,500 points. Just 500 more, and he would reach the level of a mid-stage warrior of the 2nd rank. Kim Tian Li praised him. His father always wanted a grandmaster in the family. "There's nothing more to worry about." Then he called Su Hong. Comments arose immediately. Some expected a ridiculous performance, others thought he would be scared to step onto the stage. Quintian Liu remembered first that only physical strength and martial arts were not allowed. The protagonist nodded and focused. With a light sigh and a steady gaze, he advanced, aiming for first place. His punch almost shattered the machine. The score quickly rose to 6,500 points. Tintian Li almost broke out in a cold sweat. He had underestimated that young man. Everyone was shocked. More than 6,500. The machine is broken. Voices of surprise and disbelief echoed. Xiaoyan was impressed. Ling Sheng stated that this was not the power of someone from the first rank. He believed Su Hong was already in the second. Wang tried to realize he had been arrogant by overestimating himself. Su Hong asked if he could continue and received permission. He refocused. A power he had never used began to emerge. The ghostly ethereal fire fist seemed to fit him perfectly, much easier to learn than the steps of the flying swan cloud. Tintian Li asked Lindsay what score he expected. Lindsay replied that, coming from a humble family, Su Hong shouldn't possess high-level techniques, but Tintian Li, observing his preparation, knew this would not be ordinary. When his understanding of the technique reached 100%, Su Hong opened his eyes. Ghost energy surrounded his hands, shocking everyone around. He also had expectations for that strike. His fist hit the machine, and the kinetic energy passed through the equipment. The shockwave nearly knocked some spectators over, and smoke filled the area. When the score appeared, the shock was absolute. It exceeded Wang Tianto's. Su Hong had surpassed 9,000 points. Lindsay trembled, unable to believe that this was the power of someone in the initial stage of the first rank, with just over 120 points of vitality. The three twins began to question the data, demanding to know Su Hong's true vitality and ranking after verification. Everyone was even more shocked. 137 points. Not even Lindsay could believe it. Some even questioned if there was a zero missing on the scoreboard. Su Hong exited the capsule while Kim Tian Li watched him closely. The Grandmaster ordered silence and announced, "Now we will begin the combat test, which will be based on ranking challenges." The rules were simple. Participants could challenge those above them. When no one dared to challenge someone higher, the first place would receive the reward, a ranking technique. Immediately, someone stepped forward. Lin Xing declared, "I want to fight Su Hong." Since Su Hong's vitality was low, Lin Xing believed that he only needed to use the movement technique to dodge attacks and thus defeat him, relying on his high vitality. Tian Li refused the request, surprising Lin Xing. The old man then suggested, "You three can go together." None of the three liked the idea, feeling that they were being underestimated. Chin Chan asked Su Hong for his opinion. The protagonist was not against it. Seeing the arrogance in Su Hong, the trio mocked, believing that each one alone would be enough. The room was cleared for them to fight. The trio charged at the same moment with Lin Xing gaining the lead. Their plan was to use the Cloud Fist and then retreat. As soon as Su Hong fought with the others, he would attack once again from the flank. With a terrifying speed, Lin Xing was confident that Su Hong wouldn't even be able to react. Lin Xing got distracted, and Xiaoyan and Tiantu shouted, "Watch out! Dodge!" When the young man realized, Su Hong was already behind him. The protagonist said to him, "Goodbye," and his punch reached him. Lin Xing managed to react in time, thanks to the warning from his partners, and jumped back. He thanked the duo, acknowledging Su Hong's agility. At that moment, a force surrounded the protagonist's arm. It was the first time he had been affected by mental power. He realized that it was Xiaoyan who was influencing him. She became his new target, even with an injured arm. Su Hong approached her quickly. He was using the steps of cloud from the flying swan, and Xiaoyan recognized the technique. Lin Xing and Tiantu advanced to confront Su Hong, still surprised to see him using the wind attribute skill. They believed Su Hong could be of dual attribute. Wang Tiantu stood in front of Xiaoyan to block Su Hong's advance, allowing her to use mental control. Tiantu used the Ghost Fire Fist, but on the other side, Su Hong used the same technique. Xiaoyan tried to freeze him. At that moment, Su Hong felt her mental power affecting him in a way more powerful than he had imagined. At that moment, Qintian Li emerged behind him with a flying kick. Qintian Li thought it was too soon for Su Hong to face the three at once. The spiritual reader's abilities were hard to deal with. He recognized Su Hong's strong physique, but he believed it wouldn't be enough to rid himself of Xiaoyan's spiritual reader power. At that moment, the old man realized that Su Hong was smiling. Instead of looking worried, Su Hong was surrounded by two enemies. He exploded a powerful energy, freeing himself only with brute force, having his technique destroyed. Xiaoyan suffered internal damage. Su Hong grabbed Tiantu's fist and Ling Sheng's foot. He blocked both at once. The students watching were shocked by Su Hong's superhuman strength holding the two. The protagonist spun his body, leaving the desperate ones behind. Su Hong threw both to the ground, causing a tremor throughout the base. Tiantu was buried in the stone floor, and Lin Xing stumbled heavily. Everyone was left speechless witnessing the defeat of the two. Su Hong, however, did not stop. He continued lifting them and throwing them against the ground. Only when both of their consciousnesses were about to fade did Su Hong stop. He sighed lightly with an angry look. He faced Xiao Yan, who promptly surrendered, seeing the strongest trio in the camp being defeated by a single person. One single word arose in the minds of those who watched the fight: the monster, Kim Chen Li. He heard the noise they made and asked if anyone wanted to challenge Su Hong. However, everyone accepted that Su Hong was the true number one of the camp. Since no one volunteered, Tian Li declared Su Hong as the winner. There was still the reward for 2nd to 10th place. The instructor Lin Zhe would organize the remaining duels. Kim Tian Li asked the unquestionable number one to follow him to obtain his martial ranking reward. The protagonist was pleased to hear him. Outside, Chen Li revealed, "I noticed you since the day you entered the camp. Others were desperate to show the strength they had, so why did you hide yours?" The protagonist replied honestly, "I have no power or influence. A nail that sticks out always gets hammered down." Kim Tianlei laughed heartily at the response. He liked the young man's thought and then revealed, "This combat test was, in fact, specially organized for you. I wanted to provide you with more resources." The old man wisely commented, "In today's world, the strong become stronger. Resources only concentrate on geniuses. You no longer need to hide your strength. I, Kim Tianli, will protect you. Let's see who dares to cause you trouble." The protagonist slightly bowed, thanking Grandmaster Kim. The two then proceeded to the martial arts pavilion. Chen Li instructed the receptionist to show the list of martial techniques from the pavilion. He then passed it to Su Hong for him to choose one. He could ask questions about the techniques for a better choice. The protagonist asked which technique he believed was the best choice. Grandmaster Kim inquired which techniques he already possessed. Rong listed Ethereal Fire Fist, Bone Ghost, Terrifying Steps of the Flying Swan Cloud, Hidden Storm Punch in the Cloud, Void Piercing Finger. The others are of lower level. Surprised to hear the names of Lin Xing's and Tian Tuo's techniques, the old man asked if he had learned them just by watching the two young ones demonstrate them once. Su Hong smiled, confirming calmly. Quintian Li almost fainted. In his mind, one word defined Su Hong: monster.